Video game trends. Have y'all played Detroit Become Human? The demo?
Yeah, it's awesome. Made a video about it.
We are live now. Ricky, have you played Battalion 1944?
Yo, stop
you said
doing
don't
this,
incriminate
man.
yourself.
You said don't incriminate yourself. I'm
Don't
already
incriminate
revoked from the NDA.
I didn't say nothing. I just asked if you played it. What you talking about? But this is Battalion, baby. Battalion 1944.
I think that's the worst decision Square could have possibly done was publish that game. That game is terrible.
So anyway, before we went live,
I didn't even say any of that.
Yeah, that's.
But you initiate the conversation, man.
No, I just asked you if you played Battalion. That's all I said. What you talking about? Have you played Battalion lately?
Nah, man, it got removed from my Steam because of the devs.
So before we go live,
we are live.
Oh, wait, we live? Oh shit! I ain't gonna tell them what you told us about them dick gummies.
I didn't. Me?
Yeah, Chase. Yeah, you.
What are you talking about?
Cops thought the little baggie was something else.
Man, we out here talking about. As soon as the stream starts, he's talking about them dick gummies again, dog.
Dick gummies.
But you said you would eat them though.
The big ones.
All right, yo, time out. All right, so look, Dreamcast guy, just so you know what's going on. It was a gag gift. I just asked one day in the stream casually if somebody gave you. They're little gummy bears. These penis gag gift gummies that are super small. Would you eat them? And that ever since then. Every time there's a live stream, somebody talks about the gummy. Every time.
Imagine he pulls a shake down and says, "Yo, I'm out of here." Talk to you later.
It's a legit question. I don't know. If I'd be honest, if the stream, I like if I was live streaming and somebody sent it to me, I might eat it on stream just because I'm sure people would go insane. People would be like, "Oh my god!" But then those screenshots would follow me forever.
See, look,
I'll eat them on my off days.
Look, people will lick. They will lick Nintendo Switch cartridges. They'll lick that. But the gummies is out of the question. That's crazy.
I told you I'm buying the gummies.
One of them tastes ridiculous, and one of them tastes like gummy bears. It's crazy.
Listen, this right
here. As long as it tastes like a gummy bear,
yeah,
I'm not gonna put a dick flavored dick in my mouth.
Whoa, that's see, that
whoa. We know what that tastes like.
Whoa, that's okay.
Listen, bro. Long time ago, we had a member on the podcast whose name I don't remember. And this man, we were doing this thing where we were letting people come in and join, and talk to people live. This man licked his cat's ass and left.
Oh, he did.
Oh, yeah, yo. Wait, no, say it right. It was his video camera quality was so bad and laggy that it like a slideshow of him licking his cat's ass.
He licked his cat's ass, bounced out, bro.
That was when we used to do the podcast on Google Hangout, and then like towards the end we would just let people come in and chill for a few minutes, and we'd kick them the fuck out. Some people decided they wasn't leaving, but the dude came in. He didn't say nothing to nobody. He just literally licked his cat's ass and left. And that was the last time we did that.
Yeah, he ruined it very
much.
I see where this show's going today. I see where this is headed.
Getting that, bro. Like that shit is etched in my mind forever. My man's really came in here and did that and bounced. He ain't say hi, what's up, guys? How it was?
He looked
dead in the camera, B.
It's crazy.
That shit was mad funny, though.
What's up, chat? We live. I didn't even say what's up to the people, man. What's going on, y'all? We live. After not doing the show for a couple weeks, we are here again. So as soon as we hit 500 viewers, we're going to start. And y'all got to... Who donated already?
Wait, wasn't we live last week?
Yeah, we was.
We were.
Just for not being live over the last couple weeks.
Hey, man, don't mess up the whole shit. Why you analyzing and all of that? What's up with the Sea of Thieves, though? When we going to play that? Next week?
Oh, no.
That's a serious question.
We need four people, and we can do it Saturday or whenever.
Yeah, I'm down.
But I mean, there's no objective, so I don't know what we're trying to achieve here. We just start.
See who finds the most treasure. We're gonna tally it up. Whoever finds the treasure first gets a prize. At the
We're
end
gonna have to make up our own challenges because there ain't shit in that game, dude.
Let's see who can kill the most skeletons.
Jesus Christ.
See a trash in the wild. Anyway.
A wild berry has spawned in. You know what we waiting for? We waiting for a wild silver joysticks to spawn in. This is fucking ridiculous, sir.
Yo.
I got a lot of
trade trolling. Trade trolling,
bro. Oh my god.
Trey thinks it's trash, man.
Damn. We gotta talk about that then at some point, Trey.
You said what's trash?
He said gotta work. Hey, look, listen. I'm okay with somebody saying that if they can explain.
He said he was playing.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chase about to go off on a rant, boy.
Chase about to give you like the Bill of Rights and shit before.
Look, if somebody say something's trash and they could really break down, I'm okay with that. But like, if you one of them dudes that you don't like PlayStation games and you just say it's trash, and you just say all the games trash, it's like I really don't want to hear you. Like, even the same thing goes for if you're anti-Xbox or whatever. Like, nobody's gonna sit here and tell me that all of a platform's games is trash. It's fucking ridiculous. But they're out there.
How about that, bro?
What platform all the games trash?
Ouya.
Okay, yeah.
Wii Sports is the shit.
Why you gotta like?
Hey, bro. I mean, you asked the question. I gave you an answer.
The Ouya, like, is there Ouya exclusives? Like, what games does?
There is one. I think there's like a rhythm game where you play as a dude with a fro and an axe. And
How
it's
do you
terrible.
know that?
Because this is my job, man.
What the fuck?
I didn't even think that shit had like games. That shit got more first party than that. Never mind. Yeah.
Well, because everyone.
Yo, I can guarantee you it got more first parties than PlayStation.
Yo, you know I looked up the list of PlayStation. It's kind of trash.
What?
A lot of their first in-house like first party exclusive. They got like 3. Sony. I looked up a lot of games. I didn't even know. No, that's is it a third party or is it third party but an exclusive, right?
It's third party exclusive, yeah, which is a lot of their stuff, like Sucker Punch and all that. It's just third party exclusive.
Right.
Naughty Dog.
Made by Sony Entertainment. Yo, honestly, a lot of exclusives do be we just don't know because those aren't really the games that people really look forward to or really discuss. Like there'll be some trash ass games. I don't be knowing if they indies or not. But some of these games I just seen, I was like, yo, what the fuck is that?
Like that.
I just reviewed a game earlier this month that was garbage. Extinction. Did y'all see or play that at all?
What console?
I seen that shit on Instagram.
It's like an attack, like a picture Attack on Titan meets Lord of the Rings, but just pure garbage. Like you're supposed to grab one of these giant ogres, chop off their arms and legs, and then cut their neck to like finish them off. But you basically just keep getting stuck in their armpits and crotch because your grapple hook just basically grabs whatever's close. You basically just spend all your time chilling out in ogre armpit. It's awful.
Man, that's just like that Tiger game that was on PlayStation. What is it called? I know you know.
That
I know
shit
you know what that is.
Garbage, yo.
Was Life of Tiger or something? What was it?
Oh, Life of Black Tiger.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. And PlayStation was promoting that.
Right?
I love it. That game has so many typos where it's like, he will become family of tiger. Like, what the fuck is that?
No, I remember the trailer even had like the text all wrong and shit. I said, yo, this game goes ass, man.
Hey, yo, I know this is random, but you ever play a game and you like, yo, this game is trash, and then the font comes up and you like, yo, this is trash too? Mighty Number 9, bro. Like, how you mess up the font, bro? Like, you messed up the subtitle font. They hit me with the Times New Roman, like the basic, the super basic font, bro. They didn't even try.
Was that the Kickstarter? That's the Kickstarter shit.
That's
they couldn't afford good font.
$3 million.
Font costs money, bro.
My favorite thing is on launch day, the director of the game was like, "Oh, we're gonna stream it for like 13 hours straight, just because we're so proud with all the fans." And on launch day, everyone realizes the game sucks, and the developer's sitting there, and basically he's there playing the game, and he just looks like his children have been murdered in a car accident. He's so sad looking, and there's a translator sitting next to him, and he just keeps mumbling stuff in Japanese, and the guy would translate it, and everybody kept saying this one quote. He kept mumbling, "It's better than nothing." And so we're like, is it better than nothing? A $5 million project is better than nothing?
We seen that graphic downgrade, and I don't really worry about graphics too much. I do notice them when they're great, but I can't miss that downgrade.
How can you have a graphic downgrade on a cartoon style game? Am I bugging?
Crack down.
Well, and the concept art made it look a lot better. Like the concept art made it look a lot more like Mega Man X, like stylized. And then when it came out, it was like awful cell phone graphics.
You know, when me and BG first went to E3. We seen the creator of Mighty Number 9, and when he pointed out, I said, "Isn't that the dude from Mighty Number 9?" He goes, "Yeah, his game sucks." And that's how the guy turned around. And BG said, "Yo, we out this one."
I don't want to say what game it was because it's one of my most embarrassing memories. But I went to some panel at some point and they were bringing out a bunch of different random developers to talk about the physics in games. I don't know why. It was basically like an impromptu class about game physics, and I was curious. I'm sitting in this crowd. I'm like, this was way before I was ever doing YouTube, and I'm sitting there, and they brought out somebody who made a game that is very famously bad, and everybody was quiet, and I decided as a joke to go, boo. When they introduced him, I just booed in the back and they kicked me out. And I'm like, well, I don't know why.
You out?
Oh,
You
man.
got kicked off the panel.
No Man's Sky, huh?
I got kicked out of the crowd. That's the only time I've ever been kicked out of
I peeped that, Barry. He said, yeah, you just talking about No Man's Sky. He said,
I
that's
see
good.
what he did.
Oh man, Sky looks good. Graphically, it does look nice, but this shit boring as
Oh,
hell.
man, Sky
Yo.
looks like
Chase
this.
played up to 10 hours though.
I see
did.
that Jim Carrey movie in the background.
These are the Liar Liar
That movie
bloopers,
is
bro.
funny. Yeah, the liar. That shit is funny.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. You know what? Let's go ahead and get the podcast going. This is GMG episode 181. We probably over 200. It's just 181 as far as YouTube is concerned. We have a new guest, first time in the building. Introduce yourself, bro.
Hello, I'm Dreamcast Guy. I basically play every single video game ever made, and then I talk about them on my channel. If it's something cool, I'll probably review it, and if it doesn't, if it's not cool, then I'm still probably going to review it, but I'll shit all over it.
There you go. Simple as that. That's what we need. We don't need people out here saying games is good, and they know they ass for real. I almost said somebody's name, and I had no business. Ricky, you're next, sir. Go ahead.
Yo, I'm glad to be back. Another week in the show. Glad to have Dreamcast Guy here. Glad to have Barry here. Let's talk about these games. Interesting topics. I really want to move to the God of War, but we'll wait for the end then. But let's get it on popping. Hit the like button, you guys, and
Yeah.
we almost at the 200 mark with the episode, so I'll probably be doing a giveaway for you guys. Keep in touch, man.
Barry.
What's going on, guys? It's the Ghost. I'm here when I can't be here. I'm glad to be here. Dreamcast Guy. It's nice to actually be on the same podcast with him. I mean, I've seen a lot of his content. It's pretty cool to be with him. And everybody else, got to have me one more time. GMG, let's do it. 181.
Ooh. He got his intros getting better. You remember, because them things was horrible at the beginning. He couldn't even. I'm sorry, man. My bad, Barry. That was good, though. My man. Propsy, go ahead.
God, you know what I'm saying? What's going on, people? Squad, gang. Hey, Kanye is on some nut shit, man.
I muted him on Twitter.
We're just gonna let him rock out and go into that dark zone or the sunken place by himself. It is what it is. Shout outs to God of War. Shout outs to our guests. Great to have y'all on here. Let's get this money.
I would never follow Kanye on social media. That's one of them people, and I never say this about people. I only want to hear him if he's making songs. If he's on anything else, I don't want to hear it because
I blame the meds. I don't know.
Nah, after his mom passed, man, he started acting real nutty. I was just like,
Yeah. Well, and he had that emotional breakdown. He had that emotional breakdown during his last tour. Like, his music is some of the most hype stuff ever.
Yeah.
Like, it is literally when I need to get myself in a good mood, I listen to his stuff. So I was sad when I heard about his last emotional breakdown, and this kind of seems like he might be having another one.
yeah. So, but first,
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's sorry, Barry. I don't mean to say it, and it's a very nice photo, by the way. But your picture always like on some model shit, modeling, or the default picture that comes in a frame, an expensive frame too. So yeah,
It does. It is a good frame.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how he takes those pictures.
them Instagram pictures where it'd be like, yo, it should be like
Barry
it'll
on them dating websites,
it'll say,
because that's what that is.
It'll say hey,
You on them dating
hashtag-
apps, boy, them swipe left, swipe right. I
You
know
want
what you
Jay
be on.
Day?
I see
You
you
want
out here.
It should
Mingle?
say motivated, like just the one word
Yeah.
captions.
Yeah, definitely look like he got
Motivated.
on the background, like he thinking, they hate to see you win.
Hey, man, all I got to say, man, watch your girl.
That's a girl.
Oh, you know, we have some donations. Let me go ahead and read those, and then we're going to head off that first topic. The donation party has already begun. I don't know why y'all do this. Some of y'all do this before we even go live. AJ, I ain't going to read your message, AJ. You said some wild shit, man. Thank you for
bro,
donating.
That shit was fire.
That's the homie. AJ, wow, I ain't reading that, bro.
Hey, that's fire, bro.
Wait, what he say? Hold
I don't
on.
know, man. That comment came after the gummy conversation, so I just feel like there's a connection there. I'm not reading this. Bro. That was a post gummy comment. I'm not reading that. Fruit Fly, what up, GMG fam? Question: if Coon was a car air freshener, what smell would it be?
Hey,
Damn.
I got you. Wait,
That's a real question. If Coon was a car air freshener, what smell would it be?
Privilege.
What does privilege smell like?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It smell like lemon pledge. Like, I don't know. I like it better if it was nigga.
I feel like it'll smell like. I feel like it'll smell like grape jelly. I don't know why.
I don't do that because I like grape jelly. I don't want you ruining any kind of like. Oh, I don't even know.
You look like you eat marmalade though, Ricky.
Oh, what the hell is that, man?
You know
What's a
marmalade.
Nah, that's not common over here. What's a marmalade?
I don't know what that is.
Ain't that, it's like jelly, right?
I'm gonna secretly Google this and pretend like I know what you're talking about and see
It's like marmalade. It's like jelly.
Right? Like, yeah, I know what you're talking.
You know what it is? Remember, fellas, Chase bought a house. He's flexing. That's some new shit I've never heard of. I don't think I'm qualified to eat that.
It's kind of like jelly.
He put.
Man, I don't eat no.
Call that reserve.
Chase put marmalade on his croissant.
Man, y'all.
Stop! You gonna make me drop my croissant?
Hey, yeah, that's one of my favorite vines. He said, underscore
Chase
create.
On that Carlton Banks, boy.
Hey, no, they don't do me like that.
Hey,
Man.
you on that Carlton Banks, bro, with the sweat. What did he put on this sandwich, bro? On this bagel? What was that shit called? Oh, I forget what it was called, bro.
Grey Poupon?
Yeah, Grey Poupon, nigga.
Wow,
That's right.
Marmalade.
Underscore create said hashtag GMG family too strong. Love y'all. Thanks, bro. Apex
Appreciate
Pie.
you,
Long time since I caught this live. What's up? Hey, thanks for coming through. Eli, glad GMG got an honorary Caucasian. If anything happens, you call and talking to the cops first.
It's true. I'm like, yo, these gentlemen are with me, officer. It's fine. Move along.
Hey, that shit really do be working, yo. He's with me. Yo.
Wakanda, fam.
Oh, that was hilarious.
All right. We might be showing a little bit of our age here with this first topic. I know a lot of these young dudes in here ain't even gonna know what game this is. Some of them will, or maybe a lot of them will. But there was this game that I played when my mom bought me an N64 many moons ago. Now, when she bought me the game, she bought me the console. She didn't have enough to buy me the game, so I went to the video store to rent games for it after Christmas or whatever. And one of the games I rented was called Wave Race. You know what I'm saying? The footage is right here. It looks pretty good to be a game that's from like 1998, 97. Anyway, there's supposed to be a new entry of Wave Race coming out for the Switch. The last one was in 2001. It was called Wave Race Blue Storm. I didn't play that one, so I know somebody.
I've never really heard of it, to be honest with you.
You didn't? Damn, is it just me? It can't just be me.
No, I played a bunch of them. Yeah.
I remember playing it, and like I was a kid. Like, it was 2001. I was born in '93, so I was only 8 years old, and no, like I didn't understand that you had to go specifically through. I guess they call them bogeys. So you have to like those dots that on the footage. You have to go through them like right, left. I hated the game because I thought I was winning, but yeah. So I just knew I hated that game. I don't know.
Man, this game was tough. The only thing I remember is when dude would be like, "You almost had it," and then you have to start the whole shit over, bro. That was mad annoying.
Matter of fact, this does look familiar, but no, I don't think I've ever touched this game.
It was like this. There was a game called Excite Bike that I played on 64. Those are like the games that I really.
I was on Nintendo too. I remember that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Excite Bike 64.
Extreme. This came out around the same time as Extreme G, and I was a huge Extreme G fan.
Yep. That's another one.
Do y'all remember Jet Moto for PlayStation?
I played it at a friend's house. I never got a chance to really see it.
I remember the demo.
Put a whole bunch of time.
Off the demo disc. Oh man, we showing our age.
Man, they need to start putting them demo packs or something that we could download off the store or something, so we could play like shit we don't even know about.
Yeah, cool. That's how I found so many games. Back in the original Xbox, I had a subscription to Xbox Magazine. That's how I found stuff like Dead to Rights. I never would have tried that game ever until I played a demo where it's like, you can make your dog steal guns from people. It's like, I've always wanted a dog who steals guns.
That game is kind of lit. I remember that game from my childhood.
That's how I found Metal Gear, from a PlayStation demo.
Whoa.
Years and years and years.
I remember it was a specific demo that it had that Star Wars fighting game on it. It had Tomb Raider on it and a whole bunch of games. And if you hit a certain button, it will show you a code that you can type in and it'll play extra games. It had Crash on it. I think Spyro was on it.
This was a demo disc?
This is a demo disc.
A lot of demo discs were like that. They had a lot of
like
games.
12 games on it. Like that's when I first played Spyro. I'm with you.
I remember Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider was on there. Like a little bit of Resident Evil.
Armored Core was on there.
I remember I have I have a huge collection of demo discs. I just randomly found like 100 of them a couple years back, and one of them is the Final Fantasy VIII demo disc. And I remember having that as a kid, of putting the Final Fantasy VIII demo disc, and it's like this giant epic mission that's way later in the game, and your character is like really leveled up, and so you're just kicking butt, and it's like, oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah, good times, man. Now
Microtransactions.
games come, collector's editions come without the game now and shit.
Yo, have they fixed that issue, or is that still
that's
a
not
thing?
That's not something I don't think can be. I mean, it could be fixed, but like,
I mean, with a digital code at least, because that's crazy to me still.
I know
Then they
Mass
would probably
Effect
hide the
did it.
price. Mass Effect did that too?
somebody was defending that, by the way.
I don't think that's uncommon, to be honest.
That's the first I've heard of it.
Heard
Collector's
of-
Mass Effect, you get like, I think it was the toy Mako, or like the new version of the Mako, and it was like, oh, you don't get the game either. You just get all
Wait,
this.
I think Halo did something similar to that. Yeah, I could be bugging
Well,
out, but
no, Halo's weird thing I remember is when you bought the Halo 3 Ultimate Super Collector's Edition, it gave you this giant Master Chief head, and it had this slot on the bottom where it looked like you were supposed to store like a DVD case in there, but it didn't actually fit. If you put the DVD case in there, you couldn't set Master Chief down. It's like, then why did you sell me a $200 head if I can't do anything with it?
Got you.
that's bullshit.
Moving on, I seem to be the only person who likes Watch Dogs at this point. Well, the first one. Second one was way better than the first one. So I think Ubisoft accidentally hinted at a Watch Dogs 3. Now, this hold on. The conversation that I'm trying to have is not necessarily about Watch Dogs, but more about like what they can do to make Watch Dogs better, as well as their other games, because Ricky always brings up the great point that like a lot of their games feel and play real almost identical, especially that the way the AI responds, and that's crossed between Ghost Recon, Far Cry, Watch Dogs. All three of those games, the AI seems super similar. So Ubisoft sometimes has a habit of making you feel like you've already played this, even though you haven't played it. Watch Dogs 2, they approved on almost everything from the first game. So with the third one being in talks, like, what would you want to see? Because after playing Far Cry 5, I'm a little concerned, because they did a good job with Origins, and they did a good job supporting Rainbow Six in year 2, in the Division with year 2, and all that. But then Far Cry 5 was I felt the standard that they set for themselves by being better. This fell short of that. Just because, I really might think Far Cry 5 might be the worst out of 3, 4, and Primal, bro. I'm starting to feel like that more and more every time I play it, yo. So, anyway.
So I'm a person who, I actually don't like Watch Dogs 1 or 2. I reviewed them. I beat both of them. I did actually all the side quests. I did all the racing. I got all the upgrades. I still didn't like the game, and my biggest problem is that it's a world without consequences. We are so strong, and there's really no downside. Like, I hate when it says, like, you need to sneak into this building, and I can walk up and literally strangle 15 people in a row and hack a camera. Like, you're too godly, and it's too easy to just, if you want, you can just shoot everybody, or if you want, you can just hack everything. It's not hard enough. I feel like they need to make guards that are more intelligent, security systems that are a lot more intricate. I want that game to challenge me, because I feel like that's what it lacks, is that it builds a world that has so much potential, and then it never follows through on its promise. So for Watch Dogs 3, I just want it to be something that makes me think about a fight instead of just being able to run into every single one.
So question. So did you like the Deus Ex Human Revolution?
Yeah. I thought, though, that one, though, still has that same problem, but only towards the end. Towards the end, when when you could, like, turn invisible and shoot darts out of your fingertips and stuff, it kind of had that same problem.
Okay. Would anybody in here be interested in a Watch Dogs 3?
No. I'll explain. I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
You made the point that I mentioned multiple times, that every one of their games, Watch Dogs is as close to Assassin's Creed for some reason for me, and I think it's more UI based. how the game plays. It feels just like I'm playing like a more modern day Assassin's Creed. Because with Assassin's Creed, another issue has been that I never feel challenged when I played my previous games. As far as Watch Dogs I'm concerned, with the very first one, we were kind of catfished with how this game was going to be played out, and it really wasn't that much of a challenge to hack the systems. I have not heard anyone really ask for a Watch Dogs 3, and I think a lot of people praise Ubisoft after like 3 or 4 expansions later or 10 updates later when the game becomes fun. I don't have time to wait for an open world game again because they got me open world fatigue right now with their games, because it seems like they're giving us this large mass of nothing. Because like I played Ghost Recon Wildlands, and when I played Far Cry in the very beginning, I was so into it, not realizing that this is literally Ghost Recon all over again, just with other characters, because it plays exactly the same. Then it kind of reminds me of the other Far Cry games. So then it drew me back to realize, like, listen, this game is always going to be the same. So if it was a different developer or anything else, I would probably be more interested. But I'm already assuming now, and you can't blame me, it's been 5 years, this console gen, that the majority of their games feel exactly the same, that I'm only expecting them to follow a certain trend again, because they try to follow this trend with Watch Dogs 2, trying to make everybody retro and trying to make everybody hip and cool. So they're probably going to follow another trend. I'm kind of worried about a Splinter Cell game, because Blacklist was amazing to me, and I would hope they don't try to overly or make the world so big again.
Make it open world and
then ruin that experience. Shit that really isn't necessary, because that was for me at that time was very great with the stealth aspect. So I feel like if they do it this time, they're probably going to limit us to what's going to be expected, such as like better AI, because you can make a game more linear. I don't understand what's their motivation with making every game open world. They should be putting more focus on AI. AI is the worst thing Ubisoft could ever handle. They can't handle AI.
It's true, which is weird because they started out being the kings of it. Like the original trilogy of Splinter Cell games are hard because those guards will check shadows. They know where to put flares. They're constantly trying to corner you. You have to change tactics. So it's weird that like their AI has gotten more and more watered down. I'm actually one of the only people. I hated Ghost Recon Wildlands because every enemy was so dumb. They're so dumb. You can literally start just shooting people and they will stand there like, I sure hope you don't blast me in the forehead. Like, move, you idiots, fight back.
I'm on the same page. I think I made a video saying it. When you first see, and that's another problem with Ubisoft game, and a lot of these companies are guilty for it, but it's like when we first see the cutscenes, I already knew something was wrong when they pretty much put a team of players behind the reveal so that they could do their own little acting out and playing cooperatively. And I'm just like, all right, I already know there's something going to be wrong, because if you can't just show us a reveal of the gameplay on its own and you have to have a team of kids or whoever playing it to show us how the game is going to be played, I already know that there's going to be a huge downfall. And pretty much with Ghost Recon, once again, the AI was terrible. When you put a game with specific difficulty, it shouldn't be that the hardest difficulty just makes them OP or their bullets give you more damage. It should just be more of a challenge to where AI can recognize things better. But if I have something such as a silencer, that should at least help me advance. It shouldn't be that even with a silencer, AI still reacts. So a lot of it is contradicting, and a lot of it just doesn't make any sense. Ubisoft needs to just probably scale down their games a bit and just really work on the core of what should really be in whatever game they're trying to put out, because I'm not too fond of like a Splinter Cell right now. I'm literally on edge, and I think they might actually announce it. And I'm just worried that they might put it open world. So I don't know. That's just.
I'm glad you talked about the difficulty, by the way, because I don't think across just period. I think that's one of the things that people don't think about is the actual skill to find the sweet spot when it comes to difficulties. Because Watch Dogs 2, I played on very hard. I could only get shot 2 or 3 times. Now, all that was you do less damage and you take more damage. I'm not necessarily a fan of harder difficulties if that's all it does. If it doesn't actually change the way the AI interacts and how smart they are, then I don't really feel like that's really a higher difficulty. That's just like some cheese you put in there to try to make the experience harder. I'm looking for smarter AI. There's other games that have done it where you might do less damage, but really it's more about, oh, you can't do certain stuff. Hitman, as a matter of fact, like the newer Hitman games, you know, you don't have that fire trail to show you stuff, or the the AI, they react a little bit different, or they communicate more. That kind of stuff is how you actually make the game more difficult and more of a challenge. Because when it comes to Watch Dogs, either you play on normal and it's really easy, you play on hard and it's still super easy, or you play on very hard and now you can only get shot 2 or 3 times. They didn't hit that sweet spot there. So I want to try to. I would like to see more companies be able to actually do that to make the difficulty not seem like everybody's just like pretty much just cheating. So
but it's kind of what you know what I'm saying. It's like I feel like at that point it's not making it. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not making the game harder, but it's just adjusting sliders. It's not making
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like what DC guy was saying was like, as far as the original Splinter Cells had a hard AI, it makes you actually think. It makes you and the whole game is surrounded by that basis. You know what I'm saying? When you got it's just like when you're playing a game that only just changes your damage. It's like, wow, the game itself is so easy. It's just that I'm a little bit more cautious. Like,
yeah. This weekend I was recording a video. I was talking about PlayStation Now, so I've recorded a bunch of video of Silent Hill 2. I was actually playing through Silent Hill 2 again on PlayStation Now, and I forgot that game has 2 different types of difficulty. When you start a new game, it affects puzzle difficulty and enemy difficulty. So you basically affect how smart and how strong enemies are, and basically how smart am I to be able to handle more like complex puzzles. And I was like, man, it makes me kind of admire older game design where it's like, yeah, let's challenge people in different ways on each playthrough instead of just making it where, okay, do you want them to be gods who only get headshots, or do you want everybody to be a weak bitch?
Yeah. So
just to add on, I'm glad he mentioned the whole the difficulty affecting puzzles and whatnot in games, because I'm hoping for a game like if they scale down a game, I guess it gives them more room to really work more on like if you do add difficulty in a specific game. I would like to be challenged in a sense where if say you're playing on easy or normal, okay, you got the basics of AI and how they interact, but then say you move on to hard or the extreme hard, to where now when you attack them and if you try to camp back, they start to regenerate health or they start to power up more. They're able to transform it. Like, I haven't really seen a game that's able to maneuver in that sense because I guess the lack of resources or the lack of room or development time. But I want to be challenged like that. So that's how when AI really changes over the difficulty setting.
So I replayed Down Light this year. I played it on hard or very hard, whatever it was. And I just pulled up what hard mode actually does. It's not just, again, less health and you take more damage. You know what I mean? This says using med kits heals over time instead of healing instantly. Crane has less stamina. All weapons break more often. Your flashlight dims over time. Rise men appear near airdrops. Your energy refills slower. That kind of stuff is where people should go when they're trying to do hard difficulty.
You know what? I got another example for you too.
Yeah.
Last of Us, yo.
Grounded. I quit on. I'm not gonna lie. I literally I sat back like, damn.
So my birthday is coming up, and I want to try and do a full live stream of Evil Within. Has this ultra hardcore mode. It's the ultra hard difficulty is called hardcore. They disable auto saving. There are no checkpoints. You only get 7 manual saves for the entire game, and you cannot upgrade your guns. You basically get basic weapons. You can upgrade your stats and nothing else. So I mean, you basically have to like literally get like a spreadsheet to plan out how the hell you're gonna beat that. I like games like that where it's like we want to make it where. I know, and the game's about 20 hours long, so it's one of the things where it's like you're basically gonna have to sneak through every single area, save every bullet. It's like that's what difficulty should be. It's like push people to become a better gamer. Don't just push people to try and glitch into a corner or something, you know?
Because that's what we'll do. I definitely Gears of War 4, Insane or whatever I played it on. That was frustrating as shit. But a lot of the times, shirt on. Yeah, I would instead of just fighting, I would go to an area to try to make the AI do something different than what they're supposed to do to get past. Because that's kind of help. Like I was like forced to do that. I was like my only option because that shit was cold ridiculous. Some of those parts on there, because the checkpoints are so stingy on there too that I was like, man, I have to figure out a way to do stuff. Because there was the one you're having a shootout outside of a museum or something.
Yeah,
dude. I had to go all the way down and back on the other side of where they were spawning, down the steps, and wait for them there and hope that my teammates could survive inside the museum. That's pretty much my strategy to get past that.
There was a totally broke because I got all the achievements on all all 5 of the Gears of War games. On 2, 3, and Judgment, there was a glitch where you could change the difficulty for individual players. So you could literally be like, all right, I'm playing on Insane, and I'll have my teammate on Casual, and he basically can one-shot everybody while you hide in the corner, basically hugging your teddy bear.
I remember that.
Really?
Yeah, that was a legit. And so that's
so like I used to play on Insane, and my boys like somebody else would play on like Easy.
Yeah, and he's basically a RoboCop while you go over there and cry yourself to sleep. It was awesome.
I feel like that's like an exploit. Like I want to put that in the game.
Well, that happens. Say if I jump on Monster Hunter or I jump on the Division, you guys is holding it down for me while I'm new. I mean, it happens. It's just it seems like an exploit or a glitch in Gears, but that's actually a thing in a lot of these games too, where oftentimes if I jump in a lobby with you guys got a higher level than me. Y'all can help me get through certain things, I guess.
But that's an example. So Bloodborne does it where it's certain spots where you can only do that at.
Mm-hmm.
And Bloodborne is a hard game anyway. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna do something like that, it should be limited.
If I'm not mistaken, Borderlands does that, but it's scaled to like the group. So if I'm like 50 and you're like 20, it'll be like the difficulty be like somewhere in the middle.
That's
what like it's easier with me, but if it's another dude with me and up to 4 people, it gets harder the more people that's in it.
Yeah, that's what Dark Souls does, which I think is interesting, is like you can join anybody's world and it'll make you stronger or weaker. So when my buddy who's level 250 joined my game and I'm only level 110, it automatically brought his strength and stuff down and his health bar started being more realistic. Didn't
that happen when Prof? I think Prof was a higher level than me in Division. We jumped on.
That was stupid.
And no, we went to the Dark Zone, and I believe it scaled. Say I went up against my level, whatever, 1 or 10 enemies, and made them his level, I guess. So I don't mind that either,
bro. Like let's say you are grinding a new character and you have friends, they're like level 30, you're gonna play with them. So if I join a level 3 mission, there should be level 3 enemies in there. The Division, they didn't do that. They made the enemies all the level of the highest person in the party. It didn't matter what level the actual mission was. So that was a nightmare. Like you would go in there and you would see skulls over the enemies' heads. So you know what, guys, I'm gonna just go sit in here. Can y'all kill these people because I can't do any damage and they're gonna one shot me. I didn't like that. But let's go ahead and move on. Let me read these next few donations. Zuffy G came through. He said, "Yo, I remember the water race and shit." King Quest took this from a little kid. Here you go. Thanks, bro. Bright Tom said, when can we expect the game of L's? When we gonna do that?
Y'all want to do the group of L's and introduce that like next week?
Yeah. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do
who?
We're gonna do the game of L's, basically the group versions. We gotta do a co-op.
Like we all play the same shit.
So what Dreamcast guy? You know what game?
I'm on next
game of
Wednesday
L's
too,
are,
so
right?
that'd be.
Oh
no.
All right, so Game of L's basically was a challenge where we try to screw each other over. Basically, we find shitty games to give to each other, and you have to play the game for 3 hours. You have to play on the hardest difficulty. You cannot play with friends. What's the other rules?
No online.
No online. I think that's it.
For a certain amount of
and
hours.
if you beat it, you can only play the next time we do it for an hour.
Yeah, now when we first started, we were doing 6 hours, but then when we seen the games we were giving each other, I got Ride to Hell Retribution. Okay, and then Propsy gave me Pong. He gave me Pong, bro. I had to play fucking Pong. You can't even beat that game.
No, like 3 to 6 hours of Pong.
Yeah. 3 hours of Pong.
Guess what Chase gave me? I can't believe it's not a microwave. What is it called?
Oh, I can't believe it's not gambling. Did you see that game?
Bro, it was nothing but supply drops.
You just open up supply drops, like trash. It's like actual you just open trash. So those are the games that we look to try to give each other. Somebody got one of them Resident Evil games. What was it?
Umbrella Corps.
Umbrella Corps.
But that game wasn't that terrible though. Like I used to play that.
Umbrella Corps was so broken. Your run speed and your crawl speed are the same thing. So everybody in every match, everybody's just shooting along like Spider-Man.
But out of everything, that shit is like it's multiplayer. Like you can have fun in multiplayer. Like if I gotta play Pong for 3 hours, I'm gonna go crazy.
He gave me Bubsy. Barry gave me Bubsy 3D.
That's
Yeah, I
awful.
got.
Who gave who Dr. Doolittle?
Somebody gave me Dr. Doolittle.
That game was terrible.
Dr. Doodle. So
Somebody
anyway,
gave me that. Prop gave me that truck driving game. That shit was wild.
Yeah.
big
Oh,
rigs over my whatever.
big rigs, yeah.
So
That's
that's
terrible,
basically what we
dog.
do. It's just a little fun thing where we like once a month or every few weeks or whatever, we'll just do it and we'll talk about it, and it's just fun. People look forward to that. So we're gonna do that soon. We're gonna probably do that.
You want to do it next Wednesday, or do you want to do like? Yeah, we could do it next Wednesday. Like, if y'all want to do GMG, we could do it after, but we could do like an hour or two a game. Sea of Thieves first, and then do GMG after, or
Something
do
like that.
Sea of Thieves after.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're gonna do that. Just be on the lookout, Tom. _create said God of War has set a standard for great games. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Alex Cub, GMG, Chase been a viewer since 2013. Got a question though. When you guys want to get Gamer 2323 back on here, and why do people trash single players? People trash single players because this is no troll. A lot of people that don't have a lot of single player games on their platforms are more prone to say things about single players. In fact, Phil Spencer at one point said some things that I didn't agree with about single player games. I don't know why people do that. Gamer 2323.
I was supposed to get him on today, but he told me he was probably gonna be busy.
Yeah. Well, we are looking to get him back on here because it's been.
I think
quite a while.
to go back to that question, is individuals. It depends on the person that you ask. Because me personally,
internet, honestly,
who's not really a single player main, I'm more of a multiplayer main. I don't trash single players.
Yeah.
I just only play them when they're great.
I'm the opposite, where I prefer single player. There's some multiplayer games I play, obviously, but I usually limit my time on those and spend a lot more time in this single player stuff. So I don't trash multiplayer generally unless it's ass. I don't know what that is, man. Because
I don't think there's a real reason for it. I just think that there's some people that really like to play multiplayer games, and there's some people that just prefer to play single player games. Like
some people just salty too.
Yeah.
Well, it could just come down to the psychology of it. Of the people who are playing only multiplayer games are probably just more vocal and more competitive, and people who enjoy everything like us, who play a lot of single player and a lot of multiplayer, we're just less combative. So it's the people who only play Call of Duty are going to tell you how much God of War sucks, even though obviously it rocks.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
I have to have my fair share of story-driven games too. Like if it's a single player with a good story, like I'm gonna compare God of War and Far Cry. I could understand why I'm like, yo, man, let me get on a multiplayer game with Far Cry because it burned me out. Like the type of game it was, doing the same missions over and over. But when you have a story-driven game, Last of Us, like I said, God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn. I hate to say only PlayStation games, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Or even Halo 5 when I played Halo 5 and Gears. Like I like story-driven games.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with the single player.
I'm like that
story.
with Ricky, but I'm the opposite as well. Because like multiplayer can burn me the fuck out. And I just be
that's
let
fact.
me just sit down and play like
you
Persona.
do do that actually.
Yeah, like
you take long
after
breaks.
a while, I would definitely take like months off of a multiplayer game and just start only playing single player games. Like sometimes I just want to chill and just enjoy. And not only that, when you incorporate YouTube or Twitch into it, sometimes you lose your fun factor of playing a single player game. Like sometimes you just want to play a single player game just to play it with nobody talking, nobody asking questions, not having to entertain people. Versus multiplayer, all you gotta do is hit the live button and you already entertaining. So it's very simplistic to.
Bro, I got off of live streaming God of War. I was enjoying it live streaming. I was really engaging with everybody and understand. I was like, you know what, man, I need to beat this game off stream. I needed to focus. I enjoyed it so much more just playing it my own time. You know what I'm saying, like by myself, without having to be live on it.
That's why I only stream multiplayer stuff usually. Like I'll stream horror stuff single player occasionally, but I almost exclusively will stream like Fortnite stuff because it's easier to be funny. It's easier to pay attention to chat and stuff. And when I'm sitting down to play a single player game, I want to be able to just focus and sit down. Like I've put 150 hours now into Final Fantasy 15, getting every trophy, doing all the DLC. None of that would I ever stream. It's one of the things where it's like it's nice and relaxing. Let's just sit down and see these weird teenagers yell at each other in the woods.
Yeah.
I used to do that more back in 360 days. Like back in 360 and PS3 days, I enjoyed like single player, and it wasn't even necessarily the single player game that I enjoyed. It was just hunting for all the achievements, that 1,000. I just wanted that one wow.
Yeah.
Just to brag. Whereas now I just play just to enjoy. I don't care if I get a single trophy. I could have 0 trophies in
I
Persona
never
5.
go for trophies.
Yeah, I could have 0 trophies in Persona 5. That's still not gonna stop me.
I
from
used
loving
to when I didn't have very many games because I couldn't afford all the games.
I got like
now.
2 platinums on PlayStation.
I have 0.
I don't care.
I never got a platinum ever.
I tried. I tried Resogun. Like me and my boy was on that. We was definitely trying to get that because Resogun was hard as shit. Like we were definitely trying to get that.
It's like 4 stages.
Yeah, it is mad hard.
To be honest, I would never discredit anyone playing like going for trophies because at the same time, if I'm complaining about a game so much and that next person is like getting 8 hours worth because they want to like hunt for this specific thing or something, like I can't even be mad at that. But can we agree that sometimes these achievements be kind of trash, like the ones that just go through progression. Like, hey, thank you for making it to chapter 2. You just got
I ain't gonna lie. I got like 4 platinums all off Telltale games.
That happened to me with Gears, and it happened to me with Batman Arkham Knight. So I was
like, Gears. You know why I love Gears? Not to cut you off, man.
Oh,
but like the reason why I like Gears, like because y'all know I'm a Gears fanatic. So like the very first Gears, the reason why I love that so much is they had the single player shit. But you also had to get these 100 headshots with a sniper. You also had to get 100 kills with a hammer of dawn.
Oh, those I like.
You also had to get the seriously 10,000 kills in order to get the picture and stuff like that. So, like, I love that. That was one of the first games that I ever seen incorporate both multiplayer and single player. Because Call of Duty never did that shit.
That's why what I'll do is I'll pick one super hard trophy or one super hard achievement and set that as my goal. So even if I don't get all of them, like this weekend, my girlfriend and I just sat down and we finally beat Diablo 3 with hardcore characters, which are the characters where when you die, you're dead forever. And so we literally sat down for 13 hours and got the trophy for beating the entire game with one character and never dying. And we did that, and we were both just like, yes! And it's one of those things where it's like, screw all the other trophies, because the trophies are like, get 70 with every character and stuff. It's like, no, just, I got my one hard trophy, I'm happy moving on. I beat that game.
Nah, I work with a few game heads, and what they do is they're completionists. So they're big, they're real big Dark Souls fans, and they're like on New Game plus.
Yep.
Trying to get platinums. Like they platinum every game they get. So I mean, much respect to dudes that do that, because there's a definitely a audience of gamers that everything they play they have to platinum it. Which I respect.
I'm not mad at that though.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the grind. But like the other thing is like some people do it just to brag.
Exactly.
Like, that's literally what it is, and that's the issue. Because like on 360, they had like 50,000 gamer score, 100,000 gamer score, stuff like that. So people would do that literally just to be like, look what I platinum, bro.
Isn't that why it started though, for more of a bragging right type of thing?
Yeah,
like, I
believe.
That's what. Yeah, I think that's what it was made for. One, like I still go back to the point of when I got like achievements in like certain Xbox games or on PlayStation games. I'm cool with that. It was really when we started getting into the scene of progression trophies that I was just really getting turned off, that I just stood away from caring, because even with Batman Arkham Knight, I remember playing one of the DLCs, Harley Quinn or whatever. Me going through 10 feet, I went through a door, the shit gave me a trophy. And I said, yo, what the hell did I even do? And at this point, I'm like, do I really hunt for this? I mean, I never got the riddle, the green riddles. I'm not going for that, though. That's too much.
On the Simpsons Xbox 360 game, you put the disc in, and there's a big screen that says, this is the start screen. Press A to begin. And when you press A, it pops up an achievement that says, yes, this is the world's easiest achievement. Like, I love that they were even making fun of easy achievements.
Oh, the Simpsons jump? Yeah, press start? Yeah, I got that.
Yeah, it gives you an achievement worth zero gamer score. It's the only 0 gamer score trophy, I think.
Yo, 360 was so amazing. Like, the community was so trash, but it was so amazing because, like, you could start off with have nothing, and dudes like didn't even look at your game skills. They'd be like, you only got 10 achievement points, you trash. You can't afford games, you broke. But then on the very next week, you got 50K, man, you a game head. You play too much.
That's people's
dudes were like flip flop. Like
I remember Halo. I was watching somewhere. Halo gave you a 0 gamer score for camping.
That's great.
You dead serious?
I forgot which Halo it was. It was in a countdown for funniest achievements, and it was like it gave you a camping. I think if you stood in the spot for too long, like in a TDM game or a multiplayer game, I forgot what it was called. It was a funny name to it too.
That is
I remember
hilarious.
I think it was something like building a campfire, some shit like that. But
I remember
Yeah.
one of the hardest achievements I tried to go for was getting 1,000,000 points on the hardest difficulty on Guitar Hero, and that's you had to get all perfect. You had to get perfect on everything. Couldn't miss a beat or the tone, bro. That shit was hard.
I wrote a video a while ago about the hardest achievements and trophies, and I know one of them is for Rock Band 2, and it's called the Infinite Playlist, and you have to play every single song in the game without pausing it. And so it's like, how the hell am I gonna so literally it takes like 3.5 hours of you just doing this for 3.5 hours. Like, god dang.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it.
I
now.
wish that they like since we're talking about like trophies and achievements, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because I don't play every game in the world, but I wish they would bring back that aspect of certain games when you unlocked an achievement, you got like a theme, or they used to give like avatars out for your Xbox characters or pictures and stuff like that. Like PlayStation would be fire if they let you have themes completing certain games.
They still have that, actually, yeah. It's unlocked, like Bloodborne has one. When you platinum Bloodborne, it automatically installs a special theme with like a cool like Uzi background of the old hunters and stuff. Some games still have it. I think there's also one for Horizon Zero Dawn, but it's basically, they're so rare. It's usually just
that's what
like,
I'm saying. I want to see that more.
Yeah.
It would give you more of an effort to actually try to attain platinum if I knew I was going to get something after the fact.
Yo, you know what's crazy is that I'm looking at my Xbox 360 achievements, and I remember platinum. This shit is crazy because I joke on Jack Move Johnny for this, not realizing that I remember platinuming GTA 4 when I first got an Xbox 360. I even platinum Tomb Raider, Forza, Gears of War. Like, I'm shocked, yo. I don't go for no trophies no more. That's crazy.
My buddy has 37 of them, and he brags about it constantly. He's always like, check out my 37 platinums.
I can't do it. I beat a game, and I go to the next one. I don't even really look up achievements.
And platinum, like, because if I'm not mistaken, if you had, they incorporated that with PlayStation 3, right? So like you can play PS3 games and get a bunch of them. Because I remember early Xbox, in order to brag, we used to beat games like Avatar where you just had to press B for 30 seconds and you got all the achievements in a minute. Or play games like King Kong or even the original Fight Nights weren't really that hard. So like we used to really like try to compete. But then once they started getting to them real ones, like Ricky said, find all the damn riddles. Like, bro, I found like 30 of them, and then there was like the Assassin's Creed, got to find all 50 feathers and shit to get.
Well, no, it's worse, bro. It's getting all trophies to get the platinum, and a lot of those are like, you need to play the game twice. I don't really, I do replay games, but it's always like a year or 2 years after it comes out. I never play them like right away for trophies.
That's why I play like games like for instance God of War, which I shouldn't fucking have did it on the second hardest difficulty, but like,
bro, we gonna talk about it.
I like playing like games. Like there's some games that I like to just enjoy, and then the second time around I'm like, I bet I'm gonna play it on the hardest difficulty and go through the struggle.
That's one. So I'm trying to platinum I'm obsessed with Final Fantasy. So what I'm doing is I'm going through all the Final Fantasies that are on PlayStation 4 and platining them. And right now I'm trying to do the one for Final Fantasy 9. And I missed. There's a thing where you have to find all 80 optional cutscenes and watch them. And I missed one right towards the beginning. It was basically, there was like, oh, you didn't turn that one past, so no matter what, I'm gonna have to beat the game a second time. And it's like, nope. I've put like 150 hours into it. I'm gonna have to go right back to the start at the end, anyways, and beat the whole game again.
Better than me. Let's go ahead and
I got some random news actually.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
Let me do that. All right. So we're gonna start off with y'all know that Infinity Wars is coming out in 2 days? Mm-hmm. Most places, I think Thursday. Mm-hmm. So the suit that is in the last movie, which was a Captain America 3 or whatever, the Spider-Man suit that Tony started hooked up, the Iron Spider-Man suit, is gonna be in the new Spider-Man game.
Yeah, the trailer came out. That shit's so lit.
We also have H1Z1 coming to PS4 in May after 3 years of wasting time. When they should have been at the top of the Battle Royale or just at the top. They waited 3 years and it's coming in this early access beta. So you have to there's a website you can go to, h1z1.com or something like that. Mm-hmm. The games for Gold and the PS Plus games for May. So if you haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5 on Xbox, that's coming out in May. As well as Super Mega Baseball 2. Never heard of it. Now for PlayStation, it's actually kind of lit. You got Beyond Two Souls and Rayman Legends. Both games I haven't played, but they're definitely on the back of burner.
Beyond.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Beyond is really weird, and I'm glad it's a free game because I feel like it's one of those things that not a lot of people are gonna beat, but it'd be really cool for. I'm really glad more people are gonna sit down with it because it is freaking weird.
Beyond Two Souls?
Yeah, Beyond Two Souls
I
is
beat that.
Yeah, well, the whole thing about like this girl who basically has like a ghost that's been following her whole life, and so playing some missions as her ghost and blowing up stuff, and man, it's a really good game, but it's really weird.
It's a live
I'm not
stream
gonna lie.
game. It's a game that you would
Yeah.
want to show viewers, just like a lot of those Telltale games and the episodic ones.
I'm not gonna lie, David Cage is a marketing genius for that because next month Detroit comes out,
Yep, exactly.
which is the next game for that. So
How many
that's a
people
good
want
move
to make
for
the
them.
connection that those two games are from the same people, though? I think it's just us internet nerds are going to be the
I
only.
mean, not really, because if you look at this, like, because the thing about those games is a lot of times they have just the different endings. Like it's like 30. How many endings is in Beyond Two
I
Souls?
don't know. Heavy Rain had
And there's a lot of choices.
whole lot though.
It's a lot of choices. So Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, there definitely are similarities. And then with Detroit Human, that's the big selling point on that as well. With whole different, every choice matters.
Is it weird that I'd rather just watch everyone
else
else's decisions? Because I don't want to. I'm not a huge fan of like heavy QTE games. Even though I want to play this demo just to see where we at with this game.
Their games are they're
heavily
more,
interactive.
They're more interactive. They're more like No Way Out in the way you interact. Where like you, it's not just like answering like responding. And I mean, Telltale, the Batman game, is like the best effort that they've put forward for like, you know, trying to make it so that you do more stuff. So maybe there's like a fight or whatever with Batman, but it's not. It's different with the Quantic Dream games. So
This new one is changing stuff up. I played through that demo a couple times the other day, and it's a lot more interactive. Finally, like you can pick up and interact with so many different things and talk to so many people. And even when you're talking to characters, a lot of times you can move around somewhat. It's not at all like, man, some of those, because I've beaten every Quantic Dream game, even the really weird ones. Fahrenheit. Yes, Fahrenheit. I beat their first game, which is on the Dreamcast and is super bad. It's called Omicron: The Nomad's Soul. I've beaten all their stuff, and I feel like they've finally figured out, like, oh, people want gameplay. It's like, yeah, bro, thank you.
Yeah. Propsy, do you still have more news?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Sea of Thieves is Rare's fastest selling game.
Probably true. That's good.
How?
I'm assuming
that new Rare.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you how. But after
I'm
he's
assuming
done.
it's just that get games with gold at $10. Like
No. They didn't count sales, by the way, with the Game Pass downloads.
Oh,
but I'll tell you why after. Yeah.
Belgium declares loot boxes illegal. So
Good shit.
ain't no loot boxes in them games over there, bro.
Hey.
It's declared as gambling, and they're not having that.
That's going to keep happening.
And this is like for people that have never played like Witcher. You can get Witcher free. I'll put like the link in the description if y'all want to play Witcher 1, the first one. All right, that's
Three
it.
games.
Okay.
All right. So going to the Sea of Thieves thing. Not even trying to joke. I'm not surprised that they sold like hotcakes, and I'm glad that they sold well as well, because that was, in my opinion, one of Rare's last chances to at least do something. Because if this shit would have sold poorly, I don't know if they would have just parted ways or something would have happened, whatever. But I believe it sold because for Xbox, they've been wanting games for a long time, and this is one of their first IPs to drop this year, and I'm assuming that a lot of people is really out here supporting it. So even from Game Pass to paying actual $60, that's actually a good thing, but it ain't being streamed. I'll tell you right now.
I'm gonna tell people, because I'm sure some people, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that know, but some of the people watching might not really know who Rare is. Now, before I do that, I'm going to say the people that are at Rare now, the company was basically stripped down, and those people that are there now aren't really the Rare people. Those people actually did Yooka-Laylee, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But just to name some of the games that Rare put out from, like, you know, our like childhood days, we have Perfect Dark, we have Conquer, we have Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, we have Donkey Kong, the Donkey Kong games,
The original trilogy.
Yep, and the ones on 64. We have GoldenEye 7. They have Killer Instinct, which they also did for the Xbox One. They have Battletoads. They have a couple WWF games from the early 90s. They have a lot of games that people don't realize that that's who made the game.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Right. All of that stuff. So that is just the brand name of Rare's who made Sea of Thieves. But I'm not saying that's the Rare people that made the games I just mentioned. So they were pretty important to the industry at one point. I just found it impressive.
Nintendo 64 era, they were gods.
Right. I found it impressive that Sea of Thieves has outsold all these games I just said. That's good for them.
But there's also more people playing games now than there was back then.
That's true. That's true.
And it's easier obtained instead of having to go to Walmart or Toys R Us or GameStop at 9 o'clock. You can get it online, download it. Like, it's quicker to play.
And let's focus on the fact that humongous marketing budget. They've been advertising this extremely hardcore. There's billboards of it. There's commercials of it all over the place. They really spent hundreds of millions of dollars making sure people had brand awareness. And two, it came out during a relatively dry period. They definitely dropped that when people could focus on it. I mean, the only other game that really came out that week that was mind-blowing was freaking Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. So I feel like Microsoft chose a good time to drop that, but I do feel like that's a flash in the pan. I think that's all the sales they're pretty much ever going to get off it.
And not only that, you also have to think that there's a lot of games that are out right now, but this is one of the few games that promote just straight co-op funness, like just straight goofiness, fun factor, just cooperative. Like, there's not too many games that doesn't involve like killing or something like that, even though you could shoot like, skeletons and stuff like that. But it's almost like kiddie. Like I said, this game would have been perfect on the Switch.
So pretty much, Mike, because Mike in the comment section says they just said Sea of Thieves was supported. To be honest, upon releasing, of course, whoever supports the Xbox brand is going to support that game because that's one of the exclusives. Not saying everyone, but what I'm trying to say is, yes, a lot of people may have supported and bought the game, but that doesn't mean it's being streamed right now. There's probably a low player count right now because of how empty this game is. Because in my opinion, the game looks great. I don't mind color palettes looking like that. I love stuff like that, but game is garbage through and through. And
I'm not gonna call it garbage, but to add on to what Ricky said is the fact that they've already came out and said that they're working on stuff to keep people motivated to keep playing the game. That there's things coming out in the near future that's going to keep people on it and playing it. So that lets you already know that if a company is saying that it's only been out for a few weeks, a month or so, that means that they know that it's already getting stale, so they have to do something to keep people coming back.
You know what's the problem with that? First impression is always the most important because if that game is so dry, it wasn't that it was so dry, it was a new thing for everybody to just jump into, but as soon as you realize like there's a lack of just depth, character, everything in that damn game, content, period. Even if they drop an update soon, it may not even get this the support.
The one rule to that is you know how I feel about these things, but the one rule to that I would say is Destiny, because Destiny is regarded as one of the worst stories people have ever played, or lack thereof a story in the first Destiny, and it was pretty dull after you beat the raid a few times or whatever. So like, they're one of the few people that or companies that got away and still had millions of people because like they did a huge update and it brought all those people right back to it. Now I'm not comparing the size of Sea of Thieves to Destiny. I'm just saying like it's happened before, so they could announce something or bring out something that'll bring people back. Shit, they might do a fucking Sea of Thieves battle royale at this point in time.
They should have.
I heard that the next content update is probably going to be out in about 3 months. They came out with the content roadmap, and that's why as soon as I heard that, I was like, then Sea of Thieves is dead. Like they said, like we're planning on, and this first content update is going to mostly be based around pets, having like animals that you can like take with you on your boat. It's like, dude, like we need like so when I reviewed it, I basically told a series of stories about what I found fun in this game. And they basically said, look, there's nothing here. I gave it a 7 out of 10, basically being like, it's a playground game. You can enjoy it with friends, but there's not much there. So the fact that we're maybe going to get a parrot that'll whisper in my ear in June is not enough.
Remember, midway through development, because me and BG met the developers, man, and they pitched us something totally different 3 years ago than what was out now. They told us it was supposed to be 8 players per thing with a large server. The amount of guns and just weapons that you'll be able to unlock and how you'll be able to grind to build up your boat with your team. None of that is what we got with the game. And I think midway they were kind of just like, yo, what do we do here? And I thought the safest thing to do at this point was make a pirate style battle royale if they had a reach. But I don't even think they had the resources or the time to actually do so. That's why things just don't make sense. I went up against someone who I was worried like, oh, he has a sniper rifle, and I'm like, dude, every weapon in the game got the same damage.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
I think at this point they can't even, if they're going to try and convert it into Battle Royale, they need to have it done soon because all the rumors about that new Ubisoft's big pirate game Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
Like, since that's going to be...
You can't get off the boat though, right?
No, it's just straight boat battles, but you get to battle like krakens and creatures and stuff like that.
And the big thing is tons of upgrades. They said, like, from what I read about it, it's going to be an MMORPG, but with pirate boats. So you're literally cruising around, getting a humongous battle. So it's like, yeah, that's going to be more appealing to the pirate's life like crowd than, hey, let's watch cartoons puke on each other.
And that's the thing too, because I'm real into like the whole pirate scene, just like I'm into like Greek mythology and Norse mythology, so I'm like so in tune with certain games. But like I was super hyped for like a pirate kind of game. We don't have those type of games. We're not in that genre. So I mean, Skull and Bones is called.
Yeah.
Skull and Bones. Yeah.
That's another game I'm waiting for now. But I was really hoping that Sea of Thieves was gonna be killing it because, like I said, even if the color palette, some people was dissing how cartoonish it look. I don't care about that. Like I really like games that look like that too. But it's just content wise. It was not there. Remember, Rare or Microsoft, whoever paid people like Summit and a lot of these streamers to play their game and allowed them to, and gave them the unlockables very early. That is a fact confirmed. So like because of that, a lot of people were probably thinking like, oh, am I gonna get this right now? No, you have to find treasure chests and do all the same things over and over, and that can burn you. So that game.
We're gonna play it though.
No, I'm gonna play it with you guys absolutely because I got off of it fast.
I think giving it to all those streamers early was probably a bad idea. I watched part of that Summit sponsored stream, and at one point he literally, for about 12 minutes, ate a burger while sitting on top of a boat, just sailing through an empty ocean. And he kept talking to chat and reading donations. Like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be playing this game very long. It's pretty cool. It's like, not great.
That's sad because it's all just ad campaign at this point with them playing their game.
Let's move on. I got a couple more donations, and we're gonna talk a little bit about PUBG Battlefield Battle Royale. Anyway, DOA,
actually, hold on. One more thing. So did y'all hear about like the Halo Online shit that was happening?
Yeah.
Microsoft blocked it.
What?
I guess that they hinted at a Halo coming to PC.
Yeah.
So
what do you mean by blocking?
They initiated the actions to protect Halo.
With Nintendo.
Yeah.
So let me back up a tiny bit. There was originally a basically Halo 5 multiplayer, but on PCs, and it was made exclusively for Russia. Like it was only made for the Russian market. It was an experimental thing. Hackers got a hold of that code and made it available everywhere using fan servers. And it was very popular, but it would like get popular for a bit and then it'd die out, and it'd get popular for a bit and then it'd die out. Well, this time it started getting popular again, and Microsoft finally officially stepped in and sent them a cease and desist letter and said, shut the servers down today. And in the official press release apologizing for that, they basically said, like, hinted that Halo 6 is going to be on PC.
Yeah, they basically are saying, like,
they had to announce
don't
that?
be surprised.
Yeah,
I mean, because
no, you know why they had to announce it?
Because like it's never, you know what I'm saying, it's not been doing that. And not only that, like if I'm not mistaken, this Halo Online has been out for a very long time. Like you said, it got on popular, not popular on, and like it came back over like the weekend or the week or whatever, and like it was getting too much noise.
Yep.
Like, if I'm not mistaken, it was even trending. So it was getting way too much noise, and Microsoft was like, nah, B, it's not how we get down over here. They definitely
remember that was one of Microsoft's, and Sunset Overdrive, because Rise is on PC. I believe they were really trying to hold back on bringing Halo to PC, but at some point it was gonna happen.
I think.
And I'm getting it on PC if they
put
do
everything on there. I don't see.
But the Windows Store is so
I'm not.
The Windows Store is so
Yeah, they need to fit. The window that shouldn't even download right, man. Like you gotta download something, and you get a weird error message, and then it'll start downloading the file. Then it'll just like the speed will go down to like kilobits, and it's a mess.
Kilobit.
That's a mess.
I ain't played nothing on the Windows Store since Roblox.
Man, no.
Roblox is lit though, but
Forza ran well, but it was just a nightmare to simply download and install stuff, and then You can't even use capture software. You have to use shadow play, and if you don't have shadow play, I don't know how you record gameplay that you get on a Windows store if you don't have that, because
they have a capture.
It's a capture. It's a built-in capture on Windows.
They added it.
No, they've been had it since like 2013.
Since I had my PC.
Is it optimized?
No, here's the thing. Like, it's not even a feature that's really forced or a lot of, like, they need to put a lot of work in if they want to make this, like, Windows 11. I heard is coming out because one of the last updates for Windows, I think some notes came out saying that they're dropping one last patch or update for Windows 10, and that's it. So I believe Windows 11 or something might be in the works because I got a weird notification about that. But if they're gonna drop Windows 11, they should put a huge emphasis and put a lot of effort into making it easier for the Microsoft Store to play these games. Because one time I pressed F10 to record, and not only did it just ruin my computer and I blue screen with a sad smiley face, I had to reinstall. That's not funny though. I had to reinstall Gears 4. This was during Quantum Break, bro. Quantum Break, and I had to reinstall another Roblox, like Barry said, bruh.
That smiley face that they do is so unprofessional, yo. When you
sorry, we don't know. And then, for hours I had to sit and reinstall
shit. So disrespectful, bro. You don't
people,
show me a smiley.
There's a meme where they photoshopped that, so it says like, "Oopsie, I deleted your game," and they put like baby talk on there, where it's like, "All right, Microsoft, I got it." Thank you.
You know the reason they did that, right? Or you know the reason they did that is because people always complained about how complex 8 was. So they want to be like, oh, this is your friendly, easy to use Windows system.
Yeah,
it's just so easy. It's easier than a Mac.
Twitter, when it fails to connect, will sometimes say, "LOL, it didn't work. Try again." It's like, don't say LOL, goddamn it.
Ain't funny.
Yeah, YouTube be doing that, talking about monkeys in the science lab or whatever. Like, yo, come on, man.
Every time I get a bunch of TVs on my YouTube shit, when I refresh, I be thinking I got content IDs. I'm like, I got like a bunch of TV screens on my joint, but it just be lagging.
So DOA Fly High with the donation. He said, "Dear God, for Game of L's." I gotta Google "Dear God." That sounds terrible.
Dear God.
Cool Boy 908. Shout out to the entire GMG Nation. When is that merch dropping? And Ricky, the reason why Mello is subpar now. Yo, Mello, you see how much money he gonna make next season, yo? The Knicks want to get rid of him.
Can you tell me?
Man, it's like. Is it like 23 million or something?
Well, that's good.
For who? For y'all that they got rid of him, so they ain't got to pay that out. That cap space, man. The Ellis 87, y'all beat 99 Vitas yet. It's on PSN. Man, hell no, man. That game is hard as shit. We
ain't touched this since.
I like it though.
What is he getting? 24 mil, I think. 24.5.
Something like that. Alex Cub, people say PlayStation is only good for single players like it's a negative thing, but how is that a bad when everything else?
Oh, wait, no. 27.
27. Okay. Yeah, I knew it was in the 20 million. Well,
what was the question again?
He said, "What was the question?" He said, "People will say PlayStation is only good for single players like it's a negative thing, but how is that bad when everything else is multiplayer?"
Well,
I mean,
I would say
PS3 it was.
I think that's based off of history
that
too.
That online was ass.
Yeah, PS3 was definitely single players.
Well, see, my counter argument is that I own all the consoles, but I game multiplayer the most on PS4 because I feel like the PS4 community is way bigger than Xbox One now. So that means you can play a game online a lot longer after launch. Like, there are games straight up, there are multiplats that come out on Xbox One, and 6 months after it's out, you just can't even play it anymore. Like, there are no multiplayer like games anymore. Whereas I can still play Friday the 13th right now, and there are 50 million streaming counselors out there. And so that's why I'd say that even though they're not exclusives, I still think that PS4 is better at
That's definitely a good argument because you could definitely hop on there and find Division, because Division is popular on PS4.
My boy's addicted to that shit, and I'd be like, yo.
As well as your example, Friday the 13th. I was playing that as well, like a few weeks ago, like just for the hell of it, like. It's still mad people on them games.
Yeah.
All right.
And they still have headsets and stuff. They're still screaming at you. I love it.
So this was not something that I'd planned on discussing, and I don't even know if it requires a discussion. This is more funny than anything.
This is coming from Chase.
No. Listen. So
views that Chase represents not
No. Right. Well, okay. All right. I'm okay with that. All right. So look. No, Proxy, this is right up your alley, bro.
Oh,
it's 2K. All right.
Oh yeah.
2K
I know
came
what you
out
about to say.
this
I know what you
year.
about to say.
People wasn't really feeling the game. It wasn't up to 2K standards. Now, if you compare it to other basketball games, sure, but by 2K standards, they've put out a great basketball game that has its own issues like every other game, and they've done that for a while. You know what I'm saying? And then 2K17 came out, and I started seeing what it was about to be, and then 18 hit the streets, and then people. I've never seen 2K. I don't want to say die out because obviously there's a lot of people still playing it. But as far as like a community represented on YouTube and you know consistency and all that, a lot of the streamers and the YouTubers have started playing Fortnite, and they've really got away from it. Where there's a lot of people that they would put 2K videos up 4 or 5 times a week. They haven't put up a 2K video in 2-3 weeks or a month. Some people in 3 months. They're all on Fortnite. People are very frustrated with the game, and a lot of the issues are things that could have been fixed. So 2K, and this is how we know. This is how you know the game is not in the greatest of it's not in great space. 2K sent out a survey that says, why did you stop playing NBA 2K18? Select all that apply. Let me read these options. The first option, this is absolutely hilarious because they know what time it is. The first option says, I started playing Fortnite. I expected that would be a lot of people's answers. Okay? So they, at least they're not completely oblivious as to why there's less of a player base this time of year as compared to previous years. At least they know that, and they know partially why. The second option says I accomplished all of my goals in this game. The third option says I started playing another game. So that's really similar to the first option. The fourth option is this game is too difficult. Nobody would ever pick that. Okay. The next option is I started playing NBA Live 18, and I do know people that transitioned over to Live. The next option is I got bored with the game. The next option.
They got an option because LD2K left.
That
would be great.
The next option is an option that I feel a lot of people would agree with. It was too time consuming and costly to progress in my career, and it was.
All check that.
When you take away the 2 times VC multiplier out of nowhere, and then you charge people stuff like 9,000 VC for haircuts, and you're only giving some people 600 VC for a game when before that they would get 1,200, and before that they would get 2,000. They cut VC every year over the last 4 years. It is costly, and a lot of people the first day spent $50 to get their player. Some people didn't spend any money, and they're still like 75 overall, and they've been grinding since the game came out. That is terrible. They've really that you put people in a bad spot when you do that. It's a very expensive game. The next option, I've not had time or desire to play video games. I'm sure some people go with that. The next thing is I lost interest in the NBA season. I don't know if y'all been watching the playoffs was late. I don't know who the fuck would pick that. And then the other things, that's other reasons. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting that 2K put that survey.
So Fortnite won, right?
Fortnite, I don't know what won, but I think that would be, if not number 1, it has to be number 2. I do think a lot of people went with the time consuming and costly to progress. People just don't.
And ripping people off. How unstable the game is with the playground mode and how unfair it is because I thought it was so dope that you could grind within playground the pickup games and playing Pro-Am and the My Career, but then you seen the drawbacks, what they took away from us. We couldn't even play 1 minute quarters to grind for badges faster. Like, miss me. I jumped right on line.
As a person that did not buy 2K this year, which I'm so happy for, I love hearing the rage from the community. And
I do too.
And people who really play it, because it's like I really played this 2K shit. Like we was really top in the world teams and shit. Like, and that shit is just funny to me, bro. Like I just be laughing.
Prop called it out. Prop was like, yeah.
I'm just good, B. Like, and it's not that I knew that it was gonna be bad or not. I did have a feeling like it's not gonna be all cracked up what it's trying to be. Like this whole esports thing is wild to me. Like that shit kind of like definitely turned people off of the game. They cheated people out of that, as well as like I said, I've heard Chase, Ricky, and everybody talk about the tedious grinding. Like they made 2K a fucking RPG game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a fucking RPG
no
game
rewards.
with a basketball. Like it's God of War, but with a basketball. Like you gotta rank up your basketball shooting skills. You gotta rank.
I'm glad the community spoke up. A lot of times, what happens is on YouTube, people want to say stuff about games, but they get a lot of backlash in the comments, and then they start getting it from other YouTubers. I've seen it happen with Call of Duty, where there were things that needed to be said about the game in some years, and somebody would make videos and they would get destroyed, and the community, the fellow YouTubers who also felt that way, but they didn't feel that way publicly, they wouldn't really back those people up. They would make videos opposing that. When it comes to this 2K shit, like, yo, dudes is in agreement. I don't see nobody like, yo, dude tripping, this game is great. I don't see that. I see a lot of people
man,
like,
even Carter's agreeing, man.
It's a lot of people, and it's not always the game sucks and this and that. No, this shit is actually constructive in a lot of stuff that they were saying. It's always interesting when you see somebody, and like, let's say somebody has a review the first week that a game comes out, and they're right, but people don't want them to be right, and they get shitted on. But then the game comes out, and a couple months later, you start seeing that person was actually right. Like that, I hate when that happens, but it happens.
You know what else is a major thing? Why I feel like this, and you know how everybody was like, "Oh, I think Call of Duty might actually be good this year." No, the reason why I feel like 2K this year, they have no choice but to really change up. And you guys can all, agree or disagree, but remember they started that E-League shit, right? And I went to PAX and I seen how the E-League was being presented. And we fell asleep literally while the teams were playing. They had one person per team that's in the league for whichever team that they were playing for. Me, Phantom, Shoot, and Woo, we fell asleep. And Chef, we fell out and we was like, yo, we have to get up and bounce. If this game is looked upon in a negative way and people don't agree with it, it's almost like me saying I don't like playing Call of Duty no more, but I'm gonna still watch the and because I think Call of Duty's trash, I'm gonna still sit and watch the esports play Call of Duty. No, I'm gonna just stay away from it. So this is the same argument where if the game is that bad and people are really sick of the bullshit, because a lot of people got G'd for their money with the VC, because if you really look back, remember people was paying for haircuts, and then one day they decided we're gonna update the game and make haircuts free. So a lot of people who invested money to buy these certain things, they felt like they lost out. And how poorly optimized the damn online is. Why would people care to want to see a bunch of randos playing this E-League? And I feel like they're going to try their best to make sure they don't mess up anything, because they can't afford all the millions of dollars that 2K put in along with the NBA to get this E-League started. It'll be the worst, because this first 6 months when this E-League starts, if it's poor on views, because I think they even got a Twitch partnership. That's how bad it was. That they got a Twitch partnership to ensure whatever of viewers and whatnot to get it on the front page. If it's still not getting the views that it can get, it's not going to continue next season. Meaning, like, the first 6 months, it's every 6 months. They paid for players to move them into one house. They got them at a base salary of $30,000 to $35,000. They're paying for their cell phone bill. All the bills are being paid under them, but they have to make nothing but 2K content. And if 2K is dry and there's no support behind it because everybody's on Fortnite and Call of Duty or whatever other game, what's going to happen to the E-League? So I feel like they're going to try their best to make sure that this game is more efficient and better than last year, but we'll see.
I wanted to say that I definitely do believe that 2K is going to get better next year, because I feel like this is finally a year where another game that's not even in this genre definitely put a dent in their numbers with Fortnite. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally Fortnite came out and took a lot of their crowd. The guys that I know that wouldn't even play Fortnite, just playing it because 2K is just not appealing no more. I got dudes that literally only play PS4 just for 2K, and you know what I'm saying. And I was just like, I feel like now with that survey, it just shows that they're like, okay, this is not going on the way we want to. I feel like they're actually finally going to come off their high horse, stop trying to be celebrities, you know what I'm saying, and actually work with the community, see what's going on, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? This is 2K we talking about. So, you know what I'm saying? You never know, but I think they're going to actually not half-ass it and, you know what I'm saying, not only put effort into my team and add new shit to the part, add new shit to the game, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just want to say real quick because I don't play any 2K, so I don't know this, but this reminds me, this entire survey situation reminds me of right after Destiny came out. It was like 94% of the entire fan base quit within 30 days of buying the original Destiny, and Bungie started to panic because they were expecting this to be what they called a 10-year franchise. So they flashed out this humongous giant survey, and I got one of them, and the options were, there is no the complaints were, there is no in-game content, I'm quitting to play other shooters, I wish there was more like Halo, and there was another option like, my weapons don't feel strong enough. And because of that feedback, they realized, oh, everybody's just mad because there's nothing to do at the end. So they started just literally rushing out a lot of content they had done that they were planning on trickling out. They just kind of like fast forwarded it, and it worked. I mean, the community came back by the millions. Yeah. So hopefully 2K learned from their mistake and realized, maybe people are quitting for this free game because ours has too many microtransactions.
Bro, they showed that shit on the title screen, bro. They got a VC cell on the title screen.
On the title screen.
With all the NBA logos, there's a VC cell logo right on the bottom of the title screen.
Bro, what they did on a pregame show, when it's a VC cell, it's all on the, like, where TNT is supposed to be at or whatever the shit is.
Oh, when you're
playing, VC cell. You're like, this is ridiculous.
One big thing is going to what Trey said. He says, "Nah, I don't think they'll just do one season. They'll probably do 2 to 3 seasons." You got to remember, because we was there. I'm hoping so too. But we were there, and I heard a lot what was going on. I spoke to Hip Hop Gamer too, because he's actually cool with Ronnie 2K and everybody what they were doing. From what I got was, if this one doesn't put numbers, they may kind of separate or certain. That's why not every NBA team opted into this, because they need to make sure that the teams that did opt into it looks like a profit. Everything is a profit. If there's no profit, there's no money being put in. They're looking to get players endorsed. And if this game can't get players endorsed, if the numbers aren't as large like Call of Duty numbers at one point, when they used to have 500,000 live viewers on one platform and IGN was hosting and it had like almost 1 million at one point, if they're not getting these numbers, Nike, Adidas, all these companies are going to stay away. I think they got someone with Jordan and some other companies, but to get the real endorsements, this season's going to say it all. And from what I got, there was 2K diehards leaving the actual scene of which when they were playing, and because it was dedicated servers, tell me this ain't funny, it was dedicated servers and somebody still lagged out of the game live while we was watching them. The dude was like, yo, what do I do? The computer had to play for him. It said on the screen, has quit the game. So you still have stability, optimization issues and server issues with a dedicated server that you're going to push this game upon. Yeah. So if this game don't perform well, it may not be pushed to the next level. They may do another season, but don't expect other NBA teams to really endorse this, because there's millions of dollars behind this. And this is something new and risky.
Yeah. So anyhow, people, if you get that survey, fill it out. We need to tell them what's wrong with their game. We know what's wrong with the game. You got to make people feel like they're being rewarded.
Still getting it this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably get it. Now, you know what?
I'm getting that and Live 19.
Oh no, I ain't gonna say it. I don't want to make any crazy statements right now. I'm gonna most likely.
About what? No, say it. What was the statement?
Nah, I can't say.
Just say no. What would it have been? What was, like, you don't have to agree to it, but like,
I'm about to say something that can get me in some serious trouble, man.
Come on, man. I get myself into trouble all the time. Just say it. What was it?
Yeah, but you different. You know what I'm saying? You.
Nah, but I stand by it sometimes. At least I won that bet with Battlefield 1, right?
Did you?
It definitely. Yeah, man. No, nobody owes me nothing. But it was really more of like, yo, this is how we transition over to how Call of Duty.
You owe him 60 bones.
No, there was 2 bets though, right?
What?
And that was going to cancel. That was going to cancel each other out.
To be honest with you, I think I'm not even trying to joke. If I'm not mistaken, somebody can pull it. I think I won both, but because I didn't really care, so it showed me that how different players are now with really making a stand to like move away from a game. Like Call of Duty was only making.
What was it? Wasn't it like
he said Battlefield
1 was going to outsell Call of Duty or something?
He said Battlefield 1 will outsell Call of Duty.
He did say that.
And he also said
Battlefield was going to sell 15 million,
like
counting downloads.
15 or 20 million in like 3 months or some shit. Like,
no,
you said you gave it.
It wasn't in 3 months because we was already half the year in. I said until it hits its 1 year anniversary. Which it made all the downloads
before the game came out.
We need to go find that bet. Well,
but I will say what I will say is like it's crazy how things like turn around, because when Call of Duty won that, I do too. But the reason why Call of Duty definitely was selling more, because remember for 2 months straight, or I think it was a month and a half, Infinite Warfare was being sold for $1.
That game
and
is
certain
ass.
stuff. If you sold the game, you could have got it for $1.
The game's. You know what? Since you're talking about Battlefield, we may as well go ahead and bring up the fact that the next Battlefield, which comes out in December, right? Battlefield 5, supposedly.
Well, I don't think we know the window, but yeah, it's supposed to be November, December.
I didn't mean December, but this year.
Yeah.
They're supposedly working on a prototype, a battle royale prototype for their game. I think it's safe to say that this mode is going to end up in a lot more of the games that are really popular for whatever, obviously because of the success of Fortnite and PUBG. People want to try to go ahead and piggyback off that. I hope not.
Jesus.
So the question is, all right, so we have Fortnite, which has set some kind of a standard, at least when it comes to like popularity. You have PUBG, which is super strong. Obviously, it's only on Xbox and PC, so they're only on two of the platforms. Well, it's on mobile too. If there was like a super commercial game that could pull off battle royale, so be it Call of Duty, Battlefield, or anything like that, who do you think could actually do the best job with a battle royale mode in their game out of like the bigger known franchises so far?
Red Dead.
Red Dead shit was Grand Theft Auto was garbage, so I'm hoping Red Dead might be.
I'm betting. I'm saying I would bet hard money on the fact that Battlefield is going to be able to pull it off, because I played, what was that 64 player game type they already had in Battlefield 1? That was awesome, where it was like a multi-stage battle and trying to take over stuff. Yeah. Clearly, they already have the programming for it, because I feel like that's something a lot of people forget, is the reason every game doesn't already have Battle Royale is because the programming of it is actually really difficult to have 100 players all being reported to each other simultaneously. Like, that requires very specific coding. So the fact that they already have 64 players running so smoothly, so instantly, I feel like the jump to 100 is small.
That's a good point, actually. That's a great point. The reason why that's a good point is because I realized any optimization or whatever issues I've ever had with Battlefield was an internal issue, and it was across all platforms. And it was whether I was playing a 10-on-10 or anything. So I think they could possibly handle all those players. I was going to pick Battlefield because I've already played a game that's a first-person, sort of like a shooter, Battle Royale, which you can say PUBG when you move it to first-person, or Islands of Nine. And with Battlefield, I could get more of an excitement for it because, of course, it's more, not simulative, but I like Battlefield more than like Call of Duty. They would actually have to go in and make sure that the time to kill is much longer compared to what its original time to kill is, because you die too fast in Call of Duty.
Yes.
Like the way Call of Duty is made specifically is not, you know what I'm saying, the mechanics of Call of Duty is not made for a real type game. I see what you're saying.
I mean, same thing. Well, same thing with almost any of these games. My only issue is I don't know if this is going to serve an impact. Like, this is probably one of the first few genres of games that may only stick, because same thing with Call of Duty. At one point, every damn company wanted to make a first-person shooter. At one point, they all wanted to compete. They wanted to do perks and a kill streak system, or try to take away what was cheesy in Call of Duty and try to implement it, and it was never that successful. As far as Battle Royale goes, I don't agree with the two, because I've already seen a bad taste with supply drop openings and microtransactions, and we're talking about a free-to-play game that you could just simply play, which even the main story game, whatever, Save the World, once it's completed, it's going to turn free, that you can earn V-Bucks or whatever the currency is to buy microtransactions, to buy the items in the game. But we have something like Call of Duty, which thrives and makes the majority of their money off of supply drops and all the other stuff. And then you have Battlefield, which operates similar, same thing with like Star Wars Battlefront. So I don't know if that's gonna work, because like at one point I agreed. I was like, oh man, who cares? I don't mind if games go Battle Royale. Like I love Battle Royale, but now I'm looking at the games that are trying to enter this, and I'm like, I'm like, damn.
Let me be honest. This is a reach, but I don't care.
That's not him, bro. By the way.
Okay. I want a different style of Battle Royale.
Yes.
I want like an Overwatch style of Battle Royale, or a fighting game Battle Royale. Like, imagine like For Honor in a Battle Royale style. Not the Ubisoft aspect, because we know Ubi trash, but like in general, like just niggas running around with swords or something like that. I don't know. I'm just
type
tired
game.
of shooting, bro. Like I'm
That's
just
what I
tired
wanted.
of
I wanted
shooting.
like a gladiator style.
Have y'all played Darwin Project?
Yeah.
I have.
I haven't.
Yeah, so you know the whole thing with that. If at least it's 8-person
different.
battle royale, and instead you're crafting. You actually have a shovel. I got a bunch of kills by beating people to death with my shovel. I could just upgrade that and use it like a battle axe. At least that's
Build
different.
like bear traps and
Mhm.
speed boosts and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
super
like,
abilities. I got.
I like that aspect.
Yeah, I wish more would do
That's
that.
pretty
Matter of
good.
fact, let's do it. Let's mark it right here. GMG 181. Turn Crackdown 3 into a.
Hey, speaking of, hey, I didn't know.
No,
It
leave
may not even
Crackdown
be
at home.
bad.
Leave
Wait,
that
that
shit-
wouldn't even.
leave that
Hey,
shit.
speaking of, hey, that game just went free to play too.
What,
It
Crackdown?
did on Steam.
No, Darwin
I'm
Project.
about to say.
Darwin Project on
Crackdown-
Steam it is. Yeah.
So wait, I want to go
Crackdown
back to the Darwin Project thing because I played it and I seen your overall like review on it and I agreed like 1,000 with what was missing, what could be added, and like the type of game it is because it definitely reminds me more of Hunger Games than even like Fortnite. Like this is like literally a Hunger Games in a video game. My only issue is I hate playing a game that's lacking so much, and I feel like it has the potential to really add certain things that I know won't get it. Like I want more of the crafting. It was random to see couches in the middle of just a hill or like the little trees, but it really made me want to see more be added, like a battle thrown into a battle royale, no weapons ever. You just have to find items and find a way to craft. Like that'll be even more fun. That'll be kind of different in battle royale, and I don't know if we'll ever get something like that, but that'll be at least a
Not
twist.
only that, one of the things. I just lost my fucking point. I ain't gonna lie. Fuck it.
Well, here
I
want to throw some really juicy out here for you that you guys may not have heard of. I was reading some really interesting leaks that I'm sure you guys have heard. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is going to have Battle Royale.
Yeah.
I was reading some stuff of they're trying to rush that right this second.
Yep.
That up until about 3 months ago, there was actually a campaign and everybody was working. There was a whole team dedicated to working on a campaign and it just was not even close to finish. Like it has like another 9 months of work and the game has to be out in like 5 months.
Yep.
So they straight up told that team, stop, delete it. I don't care the characters you invented. I don't care the voiceover you've already recorded. Delete all that and make a battle royale. And so from what I'm reading, they've already have told them like, okay, but it can't be 100 people. It's probably going to be between 20 and 50 people like dropping onto a map, picking up random guns and shooting each other. And so who knows how balanced it's going to be.
It's not going to be balanced.
I mean, it's going to be messed
It's
up.
going to
I
be,
mean,
man, they lag on
I just
6v6.
remembered.
They talking about Battle Royale. That shit
There's no
is
dedicated
laggy.
servers.
I just remember my point. All right, so because I'll actually incorporate my point on that into this Call of Duty, right? So one of the reasons why I like Darwin Project is there's someone above who can like send things down and disrupt and hurt people. So like it gives everyone kind of like, even if you're not in the main battle royale, you can target people. Call of Duty could do that and make it so like kill streaks hurt people. They could send like, napalm strikes down or send whatever down to hunt people down for a period of time. That wouldn't be that mad, but I don't really give a fuck. When it's all said and done.
I'm okay with Battle Royale. I don't think everybody needs to follow the same format. Just because this game does 100 people doesn't mean you need to do 100 people. I think that Fortnite runs so well. It's kind of impressive, especially because it's a free to play game. As far as the Battle Royale mode, and we've seen a lot of games on a much smaller scale, at least with the maps and all that run terribly. I do not think that Call of Duty's Battle Royale is going to be balanced or it's going to run well. I think that shit is going to run like complete garbage because for the last few years, except with the exception of Ghost ran real well. Their games, something has just always been off about their game when it comes to online play. Like you even see a lot of the pro players when they're on LAN, they love it, but when they get off, they're like, man, this shit is weird. So I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I could take them serious with their Battle Royale. Yo.
I have a feeling, 100%. I feel like the launch is going to go about as smoothly as GTA Online. When that came out for the first 2 weeks, the servers would just crash for hours at a time. Yeah. You'd level up 15 levels and then lose it all the next morning when you woke up for no damn reason. I feel like it's going to.
I remember that. I spent 20, or like not 20. I spent like 2 days battling. Who was Lamar? Because you had to battle him before you could go online. You had to beat him in a race.
Exactly.
I spent 2 full days doing that shit, and like other people around me did it like the first time.
Wait, I'm sorry to cut you off. What exactly are you saying again? Because
we're talking about
race?
like the race that you had to get online on GTA. Like
I never
the first
made it
2 weeks of how
past
bad it was. It literally took me 2 days to. I kept beating them, but it wouldn't put me online, so it kept making me.
That was the worst, and it deleted my player.
Yep, that's what I had too. As soon as it took me like 4 hours to finally get a character that looked just like my messed up face. I got online, I'm playing for a couple hours, I'm like, yay! And the next morning I wake up and it's just deleted. I was like, cool, I'm fucked. And I had to redo all that. Now my new character looks like an Asian guy, but you know what? That's just what I gotta do.
You know what's crazy? All my deleted characters from repeating that damn step came back after like they finally fixed everything. But yeah, I remember that was one point where we had to wait 2 weeks because I think it was smart that they wanted us to play the story, but I don't think that's why they delayed it for 2 weeks.
Cottage never
as you guys can see, she was bad.
Christopher.
What happened?
Hey, man, he said COD is never trash. Come on, man. Like,
well, COD is strong words.
You know what? I wanted to ask you guys a question because it goes back to what Dreamcast guys said about how they had the developers of the campaign stop just to at least go, or whoever, to work on the battle royale. Do you agree that there's a possibility that when there's developers who are forced to make a certain game other than like a Kojima who's allowed to just do whatever he wants now, do you think that's why we be getting like really trash, like effortless type games?
Yes, I think a lot of their visions get destroyed whenever they go to pitch a lot of their games, or they start working on them and somebody comes in and they just change everything or a lot of the stuff about the game. I do believe that a lot of these games we play aren't necessarily bad because of the studio. Some of them are, but I think a lot of that has to be because somebody comes in, a higher power, and they like mess the project up. Absolutely.
I would say it's 50-50 because I feel like games like Horizon Zero Dawn, I read some of their developer notes, and the fact that they straight up walked in there and said like, hey, I know we're only famous for this first-person shooter in space, but can we try and make a game about fighting robot dinosaurs? And they actually did it, and it was a big success. But you definitely see stuff like Mass Effect Andromeda, where they were just told, like, no, it's got to basically just be Mass Effect 3 again. And they just were riding their asses so hard. The final product is vanilla ice cream. It is the most bland thing ever.
Yeah. No, come on, let's not bring that game up, please.
Let me read these couple donations, because I don't want to forget these people. Appreciate that. Jessica donated without a message. I was expecting a message specifically for Ricky, Jessica. Jerry with 2 donations. Is Killer Instinct still trash, Ricky? And Chase, we need some Rainbow Six gameplay. Ricky got that was vintage GMG right there. Ricky whole name came from that episode. It's crazy.
I'm down for Rainbow.
We're down for Rainbow too.
But
bro, you know what I realized?
I need some help, man.
Man, listen, bro, we playing casual, no rank. I'm gonna learn you these characters.
All right.
I already got the perfect character for you, my G.
All right. What was you about to say, Ricky? Before I read these last 2?
Nah, I was like, yo, I didn't realize that like I could wake up 7 in the morning and like I turn around at 6 p.m. Yo, like time be going fast. So like I've been wanting to hit you up about Rainbow Six, but the hours of the day be going
I forget
fast.
though. Y'all played on what?
I played on PC too.
It's on
PC and
I got it. I mean, I got it on both.
You can get that starter pack on PC.
Yeah. High Def Ronin with the donation and no message. Navy Boy, $20 donation. If NBA Live had 2K graphics and more animation, they would kill 2K. Bring back NBA Live 05 All-Star Weekend. NBA Live just came back, so they're not there yet, but they on 2K Hills. 2K turning into Monopoly, VC, and more VC.
I agree with that.
I agree with it. I agree with a lot of that.
Gotta come off the high horse.
I don't know about
the
animation.
The biggest thing about it is though, like this is the thing, and I'm calling Chase out because I'm tired of shenanigans. 2K, from what I've been told from my peers, is that this 2K18 is ass. Y'all can't turn around and support 2K19. You got to make a stand and let them know it's ass. Just not playing the game ain't good enough. Let them know with your money. Like, be like, nah, bro. If y'all ain't fixing this shit day one, and I ain't getting 19 and take this pledge, because if all you gonna do is just turn around and keep buying the same shit over and over and over again, then you really don't want the game to be better if you're still supporting the shit.
That's not. I mean, people have a down year. There is that.
And 2K been having that.
The thing with 2K, is
Madden
this is the
has-
first time where I was like, yo, this game is ass. Y'all ain't never heard me say the game. Now I'm with you on that when it comes to Madden. I have no conceivable reason why I buy that game every year. I don't play it. I maybe play a couple games with like my friends when they come over, but that is purely the only time I ever play Madden is literally when somebody comes in my house, we'll chill, play a couple games of Madden, and and that's it. Like that's the only time I really don't play that game.
What you think is worse, 2K microtransactions or Madden not putting shit in their game?
I think 2K microtransactions because with Madden at least they put out.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
So what do you think is worse, 2K with the microtransactions and like the grind, or Madden just not putting new shit in their game?
No. Madden does the same bullshit
Madden,
with microtransactions too.
They do. But the thing is, their Ultimate Team, they has a lot of content that they put out for their Ultimate Team. 2K fell short on content this year, and when you have a multiplayer game, if you want to truly keep people on your game, you have to put out content. And I realized, like with the whole our Fortnite conversation, that a lot of times people don't ask for a whole lot from you. If you give them, an emote every once in a while, you give them like a little a change up to one of the modes or a little spin off or whatever, or you having an event or something like that every so often, that's usually enough to get people back on your game. But if you don't do that, people are going to go and play something else. Monster Hunter is a prime example, and that game, in my opinion, it released as a first time Monster Hunter player. I didn't feel it had enough monsters, and I'm saying that purely off of it only having like 32. But a lot of those were like, you have a Diablos and a Black Diablos, which is really, it's kind of the same thing.
They do the exact same
they're
thing.
just like, skins or whatever. And then, I would get bored, but what would happen is every time I get bored with the game, and I'm ready to like kind of like give it up for at least like a couple weeks until something comes back, they bring out something small, like they have an event, or they just brought out a new monster last week, or they brought out Devil Joe or whatever like that. And I'm sure a lot of the Fortnite people can really agree to the same stuff. It's just feed people content a little bit at a time at the right time, and that'll keep people on the game. 2K ain't really do that shit this year, man. They didn't, and a lot of the events just they just didn't run well.
And you know what? And like going back to that, they like with the part. They had they had a whole fucking venue and only did 3 things in it. They
That's
did
what
any
I'm saying, man.
Then they went back to the new tournament. Then they went back to the fucking ruffle thing. And like, you're gonna be doing this for a whole year, like. But with my team, you can definitely tell. Oh, we got this KG pack coming out. We want you to spend your VC on that. Oh, we got this. This
retro Jordan with hair. Nigga, like
we got this pack.
They did a tongue patch, man. A Michael Jordan patch for the tongue, bro. It was a huge patch. That's what we're doing.
Retarded.
It's like you definitely can tell. They'll put that shit. They'll put that money into my team, just like with Madden. They'll put that money in that Ultimate Team. That's what. As soon as I open up, man, that's the first thing that pop up. Is a damn new Ultimate Team shit.
Yeah. And then they know what their moneymaker is. That's,
exactly.
That's what it is. Like, now, granted, if they turned around and made 2K19 free and did all that microtransaction shit, I would give no fucks. I would care about it. Not at all.
I wouldn't
or
care.
charge it, maybe not even make it free, but just make it less. Like that would make it $60. Make it like $30. Because if you're gonna spend thousands of dollars, millions of dollars advertising microtransactions everywhere, then it's just like, come on, bro. Like,
speaking
I don't even like watching Hulu because of fucking ads. Be like, they be advertising.
I got Hulu Plus now, bro.
I do too. I'm in the game, baby. I don't do that shit.
I had to.
And now that I think about it, yo, you can really. 2K can really make that game free to play, and like, you know how like free to plays live off microtransactions. Like if you make 2K free to play, like that's just crazy. Like it wouldn't. You can make that free to you can make 2K free to play and still, you know what I'm trying to say though. Like
a lot of games could do that, but
crazy.
If you ask me, a lot of times a game transitions from a paid service or a paid game to microtransactions and free to play. It's usually out of like desperation or the player base dwindling so much that they know people aren't coming back. So it's like, you know what, let's go ahead and make this free to play to try to attract some of those people, and then we'll just do in-game purchases. It's never.
You know why they're not going to do that though?
No,
you know why they won't do it though? 2K specifically. Think about it like this:
that's a lot of money lost.
No. Think about it like this. Do we know for a fact that they take say there's 2 tables, right? 2K18, okay. We're about to start on a new project. You know what? Let's start a whole brand new budget to build 2K for the ground up. No, what they're gonna do is they're gonna tweak out a lot of the face scan features on the same game. They're gonna then add other resources to the game. May put a few million into the game, but when they resell it back for $60 and whatever other edition, they're gonna make more money back. Because if you really look at it, if we get 2K and we're talking about the base build of the game, however much millions that cost, you as how similar each game is every year. You think they rebuilding that game up from the ground up? No, they're just adding on to it and fixing what was the problems primarily, graphics, tuning up, whatever.
That's sports games, period, though. It's never a new game.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't think, no, exactly. So I don't think they would actually say, you know what? Let's just not bring out another 2K. We're just going to give you guys an update. No, I think what they'll purposely do is they'll spend some money to really add into the next one, resell it to make more money back. That's why I'm like, that whole making it free and then charging us VC is that's not going to make them profit as well, which is fucked up because we pretty much get the same game with just new looking faces.
That's
every year.
And that, like,
exactly.
Sports games don't get fixed. A lot of those issues that are in those games are going to be there the whole year because they don't know how to fix them with a patch. So the next year it'll be fixed, but that year is going to have an issue that's going to get fixed, and that's just how this is the circle of sports games. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about we talked about PUBG is getting a new map. I don't know how much we don't really
another one.
Yeah, it's called Miramar. It's coming out.
No, that map is actually fire.
It's coming out.
It's actually it's arguably maybe the size of Fortnite. Maybe it's kind of hard to tell because I played the alpha or whatever, and I can't really tell if it's almost the same size as Fortnite. It's definitely a lot smaller. Guns are as soon as you land, you see guns everywhere, and it's nonstop action. So this map actually is worth it. So if you do like PUBG and are tired of that damn desert map, which is trash, this map is like a jungle. And it's very small and it's very action based. So I think they did that purposely. That's why they made the map so small.
I had a quick question. So would you? So H1 is coming out for PS4. Would you be a little bit upset if it was the same exact map that they had on PC?
Well, it's going to be, and H1 is free, so I don't care. Like it's free, so it's what it is.
PUBG's also detailing. They've announced a tournament they're going to have. There's going to be prizes totaling up to $2 million. It's going to take place from third person and first person between the 25th and 29th of July. It's going to be how many teams on here? 20 teams. So I don't know how they're qualifying, who's going to be in or whatever, but that is going to be coming in July. So that's dope. I'm going to skip this. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's cool. As somebody who's played a lot of PUBG, all on Xbox One, actually, I'm excited about the new map, but man, that game is still so broken.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I know. Like, even when I'm saying even when the game runs well, let's face it, it's just such a...
The game can run well on Xbox?
What was that?
It can run well on Xbox?
I mean, if you have an Xbox One X, squint your eyes and pray to the gods.
Yeah,
I mean, it's sort of.
You pray to God.
But my thing is, like, just the idea of them trying to be an esports. You know, in the PUBG community, that's a joke of every time you glitch through the floor and stuff, people say, "Oh, it's esports ready." So the fact that they're having tournaments of it and stuff is a little bizarre to me.
Well, they still haven't fixed that, like the texture loading and stuff.
Yeah, the textures still load really bad, and the other thing though is still.
What are they doing? They're making so much. What are they doing with the money?
The biggest problem though is still the rubber banding. Like there are so many times where I'm sneaking up right behind a guy and I'm picking up my gun and I start looking down the scope and all of a sudden I skip about 100 yards behind me and it's like, why did I bother sneaking up on this guy? I had a time the other day where I was riding a bike, I'm going about 100 miles an hour and I'm like, I'm going through the woods and I'm trying to avoid it and I see the barrier coming up behind me. I'm like, oh shit! All of a sudden I get a tiny lag spike. I keep going, but the bike doesn't. So all of a sudden I'm about 400 feet in front of my bike and the game's like, oh, you forgot your bike. Slams it into me and kills me. And it says, you've been run over by your own vehicle. So I was riding that. So the fact that that's about to be a tournament game just seems so... I might tune in to watch the dumpster fire.
Answer, is it tournament? Because I didn't hear in the beginning. Is it tournament or tournament? Damn it, I can't say it. Tournament for Xbox or... Because I guess it's been doing tournaments for PC.
Say.
They've been doing them for PC. Like, it's usually Twitch streamers though.
I'm betting it's PC. I mean, just because I'm sure it's still optimized primarily for PC.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It's probably PC. But they're getting people from different regions. You got North America only gets 3 of the teams. Europe gets 3. China gets 2. And South America gets 1, so on and so forth, up until 20 teams total. So
that game is just.
That sounds like that.
I've taken a break from battle royales for like the past few weeks, but PUBG, it just. Yo, cause like you don't understand, bro. This map that you're showing right now, it is so bad, bro. Like it's so bad. Like it's disgusting. Like the new map actually brought like me happiness playing it. I actually felt good playing the map because it was more Fortnite-ish, I guess is unfortunate the way you have to say it. It was just more quick. So like you kill somebody immediately, find weapons, it's all that. And now I can't speak for the Xbox side. I just know I've seen gameplay on the Xbox side, and that shit is disgusting.
I was talking to a friend of mine who's really obsessed with the new map too, and I said, "What's so great about it?" And he said, "It's like the ultimate version of target practice." Because he said everybody lands, everybody immediately has a gun, everybody immediately turns them on each other. And so he said, "There's no longer like you will never have like one of my biggest problems with PUBG compared to Fortnite is those times where I'm sneaking around the woods for 20 minutes and never even hear a car in the distance."
Yeah, so this map you don't have to deal with none of that. Like it doesn't even matter really where you land at this. Like that's how good that map is because everyone's always going to go there, and because it's so small and condensed, you're always going to find people. So yeah, you have to turn around as soon as you land and like spray immediately. But there's like hundreds of weapons right where you're landing, so it's almost like everybody has a fair chance now. Versus that map that you playing on, which is trash. You have to pray for when. Somebody next to you gonna have an M16 while you search 5 houses and have a pistol.
I got on there with BG and lied to him and said, "Yo, I don't know why I lagged out, man. I unplugged the shit out of my Xbox."
No, you don't understand, bro. Like I did with Chase when we played Division that last time, bro. I do that with PUBG all the time. I'll turn it on, happy as hell to play it, and as soon as I load the map, I'm like, ugh, no, I'm good, and just turn that right off.
I was like that with 2K the other day. I was in a park.
Oh, GG.
Halfway through the game, I was just like, "Oh, play this shit."
Does it turn night? It still don't turn night in the park.
It's always, what is that?
That lag, that stutter.
What I lagged?
No, I'm asking. What was your question?
Does
if they brought nighttime,
it's still always daytime in the park.
Yeah. I thought you was asking, do the park still stutter? I was gonna say, yep.
Oh, that too. People had to go out and buy PS Pros to play a game mode in your game because it was hiccuping for everybody. Anyway,
wow.
Yeah, let's Microsoft. They are continuing to figure out how to get more services to people. We already talked about the Game Pass and all that other good stuff that they got. They now are giving support for Discord for Xbox Live.
Man, that's amazing.
Excellent news. I feel like Discord should do everybody's
We were talking
chat.
about that. We were talking about that like weeks ago.
We were.
Like,
maybe months, bro. Maybe months
it might
ago.
have been. But like that's great.
I'm kind of salty because I would love that to be available
for PlayStation,
Nintendo Switch and PlayStation.
Switch. I think Discord is
if that was available on Switch, boy, I'd be on my Switch all the time.
It would change.
That's my biggest problem with Switch. Like I have my Switch right here, love the hell out of it. That's my biggest gripe is I hate that it's impossible to voice chat. But what I do like is in all the talk with this big like partnership, they are very vocal, being like, "Yes, hi Nintendo, we sure like to do this with you as well. Nintendo, please let me suck that dick." So I'm really hoping that we get that soon.
I hope so because
how Nintendo is. They probably won't do it. Try to make up their own shit. Fuck it up.
Yeah,
it's trash.
I hate
that. Let me show you this. I don't got time to wear a headset and have these two on me at all times just to say what's up to y'all. Yo, good game. You got the kill. Because if this shit dies, my phone and the Switch.
Oh, your phone. Okay.
Because there's no voice chat. And remember that one setup, the image showing that there was a pair of headphones
that was funny.
With a dongle. Like the nerve of them to even have to show that shit was blasphemous. Like the fact that they showed that device killed me.
So I set that up. I actually bought that and hooked up the whole Hori headset.
You bought that?
And
no.
because I wanted to make a video and I got my money back because I got the video. But
there you go.
Here's the thing. I found out you can only voice chat with people in your party. So it is literally impossible to shit talk somebody. I mean, I would have to invite you into a private party. At that point, it's like I might as well just call you or get on Discord. It is literally the most useless Nintendo. The Nintendo app is trash.
Yeah.
Yo,
you gotta be a dummy to accept the party invite from the.
You know what's funny though? They've been quite open on like notes that I've seen on Reddit as well as on Twitter, and I'm hoping because remember soon is going to be a $20 thing. I don't know if it's been delayed or not, but I know the service for online is $20 for a year.
Mhm.
I pray that somehow, some way, we get an update. We don't even got text chat, group text chat, and one of the arguments I made with somebody before was, even though the Vita is messed up because it came out at the very wrong time. It has voice chat. You could text chat online, social media icons. You're able to surf the web. All these features, but the lack of not only games, but it came out at the worst time possible. And I'm like, the Switch should be able to do so. And I'll be upset if they announce a Switch 2.0 and this shit is capable of doing all that. Because even though a camera is not a required function, some of these things should be at least in the console when something drops, or at least a portable.
I'm glad you brought up a Switch 2.0. I know this is kind of like staring in a different direction, but I don't know if you guys have seen the sales for the PS Pro and the Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm.
They're okay, but they're not great. I like that the sales aren't great because I don't want to see mid-gen consoles in the middle of a console cycle. I want it to be console, and if you have little things that you're doing and improving the model, that's fine, but to put out like a 0.5 of a console, I don't really want to see that again. So I hope we never see that again. I just thought that was interesting because when I just looked it up because I don't know a lot of people that even know what a PS Pro is. I mean, I have one, but like
I forgot that there's a Slim.
Right, we on this YouTube
That's
stuff.
what I own. Yeah,
we're always we pay close attention to what's going on in the industry and all that kind of stuff. Most people don't know that. They don't know what a Pro is. They don't know what an Xbox One is or Xbox One X or anything like that. So I just hope that the next time a console comes out, that's what we get for the duration of the life of the console. I don't want to see this kind of stuff anymore because it sucks. Some of the stuff that we thought would happen happened. Some of it hasn't. And one of the things I thought would happen would be that some games would run well on the Pro or run well on the original and not on the other one. And that has happened. And then there's the other stuff where you can tell some games were made for the Pro and they had a hard time making it work for the original. So then you get almost not two different games, but you get a whole different experience. I mean, we already brought up the fact that you needed a PS Pro to get the best experience from out of the park one. That's a game like 2K. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there.
That was a good point because talking about waiting for next, I'm like still not even ready to talk about an Xbox 2 or a PS5 because I feel like, and I always refer back to Dub because, and I'm gonna stand by this because he made such a strong point that when we got these consoles, we were not going to see heavy-hitting titles until at least 3-4 years later.
I agree
and
with that.
3-4 years later is when we start getting all these new announcements because people forget that some certain games take 5, 6, 7 years to develop. And I think with the way consoles are coming out, I don't want to lose my hype, my excitement. Plus, one major thing is they better make it, and I know technology and everything changes over time, all the time, but they better make it easy and seamless to port games. Because to leave another console behind, we just had the X release last year, and if another console comes out in 2 years, that is kind of ridiculous. That a $500 console that just came out at that point is now going to end up being $200, and then a year later another console is going to come out, and for what? To be left behind with the games and then shitty ports, and I don't even want to think about it.
So from everything I've read, and that has crossed my desk, is that the PlayStation 5 is heavily in development. The hardware side is basically done along with the Xbox 2. Both of these consoles exist. There is a functioning prototype. There is a internal development kit. I do not believe the development kit is in anybody's hands yet, though. And from everything I'm hearing, it is probably going to be out, or they want to start showing it in 2019. Maybe even like first teases in late 2018, but out late 2019 or early 2020. And the main thing that I'm hearing is full backwards compatibility, every PlayStation 4 game, you'll actually be able to just put the disc directly in your PlayStation 5, and it'll run as good as a PlayStation Pro. And the other thing I'm hearing is that internally they're talking about the idea of, if you want, as a studio, you can make like a patch that even upgrades the graphics a little more. Because you remember, like, when the PlayStation 2 came out, you could put PlayStation 1 discs in there, and it would automatically cause smoothing. It would make things look slightly higher resolution. So if so, I think that'll make it where the PlayStation 5 will start selling better out of the gate. But still, you're exactly right that we're not really going to have any crazy amazing games for at least 2 years into the cycle.
Like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Came out like a year or 2 years ago, right? Like a year ago. I don't think that game was a 1 year, 2 year project. That game, the idea of that game from Guerrilla Games, even was before Shadowfall came out.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
They had that in their head, sketched out in completion basically for 5 years. Once they finished Shadowfall, it was basically 3 years of just like hardcore full team, balls to the wall working to get that done. So,
I don't want to have a kid, or I don't want to go through midlife crisis and then all of a sudden like another game comes out. Like, I don't want to have to wait that long, and then on top of that you get these damn consoles every 2 years, because it's not like we're getting, remember, they made the PS3 slim, smaller, more compact. They made the Xbox 360, the slim models, more compact, more memory. We're literally getting overhauled as consoles that are pretty much new iterations of the original that can really go off as like a new generation of consoles. So what drastic changes? Maybe like you said, but I'll be upset if they wait for shit like PSN name changes or things of that nature, because I feel like the smartest thing right now, what Xbox is doing, is getting all these services out of the gate. But I said, and I told people, you're gonna have to sit pretty tight, because developing games do not come fast. They do not. They're not a fast process. Remember, the Division took 7-8 years to develop. So if anybody's, yes, no, that's the funny part. Supposedly that was in their thing. Remember when they first showed it at 2012 or 2013? They were saying this was a 7-year project.
Amazing, by the way.
7-year project. So I can only imagine if people are waiting for games on Xbox to come out, that's going to be no time soon. And it's messed up because they dropped a console like the X, and people don't get the whole format of like how long it takes to make a game. So I don't want to go through that with these next gen consoles or whatnot. I ain't even ready for it.
We don't. And after having a PS Pro, you don't need it. I mean, we said that. I said that the week I got it, and we talked about it on the podcast. You don't. When those consoles come out in the middle, you really don't need them, honestly, and especially if you don't have one, you really won't notice the difference. Horizon looks slightly better on PS Pro. God of War looks slightly better, but that's only because I'm really looking for it. Just a regular person, they're not going to see the difference. It's just, there's no point in getting that stuff, man, unless you're really into the culture or whatever, you feel like you really want to get it. But just regular people, you can skip that stuff. But anybody got any information about Microsoft's E3 at all? Or do they have?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have?
I know some people from Xbox, and the so pretty much they got something huge coming. That's from what they said. They told me what they're going to announce is still a lot of exclusives, but they were very, how should I say, they weren't specific. They weren't saying like we have exclusive IPs, but remember, that just made me think of last year's exclusive launch trailer. Like that I don't want, like, that's crazy, but that was the first time ever. Me and Chase is sitting there, we hear console launch trailer exclusive. I was like, what the fuck? Like, so the person that I spoke to who's part of Xbox told me that they're going to have a bunch of exclusive content to show out, and also new branding deals and all these new partnerships that are coming about, sub deals. I don't know if Bethesda got another company that's going to be only for Microsoft. There's a lot that's going to happen, and they got a huge venue. That little space that we saw previously with E3 and that little map out is nothing compared to what space, because they were still sorting out spaces. And they also got some other area. I forgot. Is it the Microsoft convention? I forgot what else. The LA live area, whatever, is going to be only nothing but Xbox. So that's the most I could say. And now Phil Spencer's in the works of wanting to hire and get people for story-driven games. The main thing.
You know what? I'm just gonna bring up Detroit Become Human. There's a demo, right?
Yeah, an awesome demo.
So you can download that. People probably waited long enough. Let's talk about God of War. Dreamcast, I'm gonna let you go first. I know you gotta go soon. So we're gonna get to God of War. I know people have been waiting. This could get interesting, depending on how some people feel. So, what do you think? God of War, go.
I love it.
Spoilers.
I gave it a 10 out of 10. Completely spoiler-free thoughts. I think the combat is awesome. I hate the people that are comparing it to Dark Souls. I feel like it's not Dark Souls at all. I feel like it's slow and methodical. I like the upgrade system a lot. The best part of all, though, is the writing. It's so cool having this old, grizzled Kratos kind of dealing with everything that he's done. Like, that was my biggest fear, was that he would just kind of be the same, like, whatever dude. But no, he understands, like, oh, man, I've literally killed thousands of people with my bare hands. Like, now I'm trying to be a father. There was a moment earlier when I was just playing it today, and at one point I'm like rowing along in my boat, I'm just chilling out, and all of a sudden Atreus, his son, is like, hey Dad, look, there's a wheel, but it's underwater. I guess it's like an underwater wheel. And Kratos just goes, huh. He goes, what? Did you just laugh? He goes, no, I never laugh. And I love that there's so many moments like that. The world and character of God of War is so intense.
Okay.
Barry, you played it?
Nope, but if I finish downloading during the podcast, so I'll get my first glimpse at it.
I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Yeah.
So, the story, the voice acting, I expect nothing less than what they do with their games. So that is, to me, that's the standard. If it was not up to that, I would be super disappointed. The dynamic between him and his son, and the little stuff, the little nuances that you pay attention to. For example, his son, he's trying to kill a deer. He shoots the deer with the arrow, but then he wants his son to go ahead and give the deer, put the deer down. His son is having a hard time stabbing him to kill the deer, and he helps him, but his son is crying about it. And now there's a couple times where you see he wants to comfort his son, but he can't do it, and you can kind of see the struggle that he has with that. Things like that you have to pay attention to. That nowadays we're getting more of that stuff in stories when we watch cutscenes of video games, and it wasn't always like that. They really pay attention to the minor details and stuff like that. As far as the gameplay goes, it is a very different game than what we're used to. Personally, I've not gotten far enough into the game where I get a familiar weapon yet. I'm still using the axe. So I'm only going to speak on my opinion so far. I like the gameplay. I like the challenge. This is, for me, the most challenging God of War, and I'm planning on to give me a challenge difficulty. They don't really cut you a whole lot of slack on this game, and I like that. If you upgrade your health, you could take something like 4 hits. I like the God of War 3 fighting better. It's not even a question. What they doing here is really good, but I would never want this beyond or more than the old God of War fighting style. So I'm just going to say that right now. I don't really do scores for games or anything like that. But that fight with the stranger, like 20 minutes into the game, is one of the best fights I've ever seen. And as far as the presentation of it, it is definitely one of my favorite ever. That fight right there is better than a lot of games' final bosses. For example, Tomb Raider, the last 2 Tomb Raider games, we fought helicopters. That's some bullshit. The Division, you fought a helicopter. That's some bullshit. Just Cause 3, you fought a helicopter. Shit like that. So when you see a game like this, who they start the game off with something like that, you know how serious they're trying to take the way they present the game. Pretty much, man, it's just another great game. Now, if you didn't like God of War before, I don't think you're gonna like this one. I'm gonna say that for people.
You sure?
Yeah.
Dude,
the gameplay direction is different though.
I don't think they will.
I hated the other God of Wars. I actually have beaten every God of War. I even own them all. And yeah, so my problem was the gameplay was great, but I was so annoyed by the fact that Kratos only had the single direction of revenge. Every single thing was like, all right, how can I see some titties and kill my enemies? Like, eventually I was like, okay, but how do you sleep at night? Like, what are you actually afraid of? So actually seeing him be a 3-dimensional character and seeing him try to interact, like, one of my favorite things about the stranger fight is when the stranger shows up and he's outside your house and nobody has ever come to his house probably ever, and he starts talking and he literally punches Kratos in the face and Kratos chooses not to kill him right away.
Right.
That's cooler story than every other God of War has ever had. We finally saw him just be like, maybe not killing is sometimes the option.
Yes, but well,
That was a good
in your case,
talking about that's on the screen.
Yeah, that's it. In your case, I think you wanted more out of the character you were using.
Yeah,
I'm speaking purely on like the premise of the game and like the gameplay. If you didn't like it, you're probably not going to like this. I mean, obviously there's exceptions to the rule. I'm sure there's somebody that's like, yeah, I hated all those games, but I really like this one. But I think generally speaking, this is not going to turn somebody into a God of War fan if they literally put the time and effort into the other games, unless it's in your case like the character depth stuff. The upgrade system, I mean, it's cool. You know, it's pretty basic, honestly. I was confused. They don't really explain some of the stuff as well as I think they can for new players.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Yeah.
But I mean, overall, I think it's dope. You know, they implemented side quests in a way where you don't feel like it's a chore, and you also don't feel like you just don't need to do them. Because a lot of those games, you're like, I'm just not doing these side quests. But on here, you probably want to do them because there's going to be stuff that's going to help you get through the rest of the game, especially on harder difficulties. And they did a good job with that. The pace of the game is something that I talked to Props, and Ricky. We was in a Skype call 2 weeks ago. And one of the things, and I think I even mentioned this last week, was there's games that are decent games, but the pace of the game is off. Far Cry 5 is a prime example of that. This game is not. You have your dead spots when you need them, and you have your action when you need them. So, overall, man, I think people should get this game for sure.
10 out of 10 IGN for you?
I don't really do scores, but, like, for me, y'all know the games that we always praise was like Horizon, Persona, South Park, the first one. This is definitely in that conversation of games that I feel like, this is when I see 10 out of 10s and 9 out of 10s, I'm okay with that. So this shit is dope. I'm not super far into the story. I'm maybe like 5 hours in, but this game is long. So anyway, one last thing. I'm sorry, Propsy. One last thing. I want to give them some fucking credit, and this ain't gonna be a big deal for a lot of people, but if this game was in the hands of like WB or another studio or another publishing company, that I could see how they would have implemented loot boxes, microtransactions, and other stuff. They decided not to do that in this game, and they very well could have, because you do pick up gear that's common or rare or whatever. And anytime we see that in other video games, we see options to purchase, not the materials, but the chance to get those. And they didn't do that because we seen what happened with the Shadow of War game, which the game is a great game, but I wasn't really a big fan of what they did as far as in-game purchases. They could have did that one here, and they didn't do that. So that's it, though. Go ahead, Prophecy. I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna start off by saying, boy. I'm like 4 hours into the game. I just started yesterday, even though I had it like the day of. And the game is just captivating in general. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard for me to take my eyes off the game. That shit, it puts like a hold on your life. Like, you don't want to stop playing it, even when you want to stop playing it. It's like, nah, come back. It's a beautiful game to look at. I love the combat style. You have to like really incorporate these combos in order to do certain things. Like, one of the things is like click R3 and you can break like their necks or do these like animations or whatever. And it actually takes you having to put and chain combos together. Like, I be fighting and I'll throw my axe at somebody and then throw their hands and then pick my axe back up and still hit into combos. Like, I just think this game is just it's marvelous.
Fire, bro.
So far from when I played again, 4 hours in, I'm with Chase. That stranger fight, I can't think of many games that I've played that the fight was as good as that. And it's not even just necessarily the fight. I'm just talking about the back and forth action that they were having and the way it was like going into transitions to like a cutscene. while you're still fighting, and then Persona 5 has really great transitions. Like they'll transition from you fighting to going straight to the enemy, and God of War does that really well. I ain't gonna lie, I'm playing on the same difficulty as Chase.
It's hard, man.
You really have to really become. You have to utilize all your tools in this game, and that's what I really like. I like games that force you to have to do different things. Because me, I'm more of a brawler style in video games. So like even in like Bloodborne, I just dash a lot and then square up. Mm-hmm. And this game, I was getting my ass whooped by not using the shield. So like I died like 10 minutes into the damn first game, like because I wasn't using my shield. So like you really have to get accustomed to playing a different type of style when you're playing this game. And I like the interaction between the small interaction that he has with his son, because I think it's comedy. Dream was telling us before that about like they did like the majority of the game voices before he even had a name, which we didn't know that. So that's why he's calling him Boy 24/7. But I just think that part is just mad funny. And as far as like the difficulty goes, like I'm told that even on normal it's hard.
Yes, it is.
Like I'm told that like there's not too many. I've never played Dark Souls personally, so I don't know how Dark Souls plays. So the only comparison I could do to is like that of a Bloodborne. And like this game is just mad difficult, and I feel like it's needed at a time like now where games are very easily beatable, and especially after me just coming off of Far Cry 5, which y'all know how I feel about that shit, and to jumping right into another single player game that's actually really good. It's like I said, this is like I play this game almost like I'm watching a movie, because I can't take my eyes away from all the greatness that's around. Not only that, I don't even try to do the main mission half the time. I'm really just like lost in the sauce in the damn side quest and just wandering around. Like I'm always wandering around looking for masks, looking for puzzles, looking for like the little boat toys and stuff like that. So like I don't feel pressured to have to do the story mode all the time. It's very similar like The Witcher like that. Witcher, I didn't have to do the story mode immediately. I could just spend 30 hours doing side quests and then jump right back into the story mode when I felt like it. So all in all, this game is just amazing to me. I love all type of mythology, Greek, Norse, Celtic, Egyptian, all of that. So this whole Norse mythology and how they reference Odin a lot and Thor a lot, I think that's really cool.
This takes more skill than the other God of War games. I forgot to say that. I mean, you're gonna like. And shout out to BG. He did a couple streams on the Weapon Wheel channel. Shout out to Weapon Wheel. He did the live stream on Give Me God of War or whatever.
Give me anxiety.
And it's refreshing to see people who are up for the challenge, but like parts that I'm getting destroyed on, I'm like, yo, damn, I'm ass. But then I watch BG and he's on the same parts and he's having a hard time on there too. Like on the one stream, he was stuck on this one particular area for about 45 minutes and he was basically dying the same way I was dying. So, and the other thing about this game is I don't feel like I get a whole lot of cheap deaths. Sometimes I definitely do, because sometimes I have my shield up and for whatever reason they'll just say
that's the one hit, bro. That's the one hit boss.
That happened to me 3 times, bro. It happened to me when I fought some wolves. I pulled my shield up, but they still bit through my shield. And it happened to me when I fight enemies that throw like the fireballs at me.
The Revenants.
Yeah, bro.
Later on, because later on you start getting all sorts of different magics, and one of them I have in my axe. You basically equip like a strong magic and weak magic, and my weak magic, my lesser spell I have now is where I do basically like a hurricane attack. I like do 4 really fast spinning attacks, and I've noticed that I can't be stopped when that starts. So whenever I see like a really big dude coming at me trying to do an unblockable, I'll get right up in his face and use that. So I feel like the game definitely is built around you trying to use stuff like that. So early on, when you only have your shield and axe, it's a lot easier to just get like your absolute shit pushed in.
Yeah.
If you are thinking about getting this game and have it, I really advise people to just watch the stranger fight. Just watch that fight. Watch somebody play that fight, and then I guarantee you, it's gonna make you want to play it. Because, like I said, it's not necessarily the fighting. Like just the transitions between everything and the way they're talking to each other. Like, the stranger's mad disrespectful, B, and I like it. Yeah. And like Kratos is like the way Kratos came up to him was just like, look, boy, leave me alone, fam. I ain't got time for this. And dude just came out straight like, I thought you'd be bigger.
Yeah.
Like I thought you'd be like that's some so disrespectful shit to say to somebody that you know has killed gods and put in work. I thought you'd be bigger. Like like that's so disrespectful.
Just as a final note, the number one reason I tell everybody that you gotta buy this game, the reason you gotta try this game is I was listening to an interview with the director of the game, Corey Balrog, and he's talking about while they were doing the final testing, they basically put people on a PlayStation 4 that would record all your movements. That way they could see what people were doing. And they saw that a lot of people would just stop moving. They would literally like beat some characters, win a fight, and then just stop moving, or be sailing somewhere and then just stop in the middle of the lake. And they're like, why does this keep happening? So they started to interview the playtesters and go, why is it that you're just standing around? And they're like, because the characters were talking. Like, the world is so realistic and the conversations are just so full of actual life. When people are talking, you do want to stop and listen to them. Like, what game can really do that as well as this? Like, there were so many times where I've been sailing on my boat and I stopped to let somebody finish their sentence. You know,
I'm guessing is that from what it sounds like and what I'm looking, they took a lot from The Last of Us.
Yeah, I would say
feels like
it took.
that.
It did, but I feel like even more so because in Last of Us, a lot of times you had to trigger a lot of the conversations.
Yeah.
Like, whereas here they just set it up. It's like people don't want to press circle to hear a sad story. Just tell me a damn sad story.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah,
I can't 100% confirm this because I've only beaten like 2 trolls and Stranger, but I do miss the like when you're running up on the trolls, the pressing triangle real quick or square real quick to do some stuff. Yeah, I do kind of miss that, but it's not stopping me from enjoying the game.
There's a few. They drew back. They scaled it down a bit. They said.
Well, and there are different ones now where instead of like one of the things you can do on trolls, if you stun them enough, you can jump up on their back and drive them for a couple seconds. And you'll actually get them to kill all their friends. Yeah. So I feel like I feel like they changed it, but I personally like it. I will say that there's still QTEs in a couple of the boss fights.
One of the things I also really love about the game, my bad, bro, is the Super Saiyan mode, bro. When one man's turn Ultra Instinct, it's over with, bro. Like
rage
put
mode.
that rage mode is fire. Like you get off so many combos with that, and it just looks and feels beautiful.
Dude. There was a time later in the game, I won't spoil it, but you're on an elevator at one point, and there's those like ice zombies are dropping down all around you, just one by one. They're coming down like 2 at a time, and I turned on Spartan Rage mode, and I just kept doing that Spartan kick. So it's just like, this is Sparta. It just literally just one by one kept me like,
get so damn epic, bro.
Get off my fucking elevator. It was so fun. Just like, how is this so epic?
Bruh, I'm on my. What were you about to say, Barry? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was about to say, I'm guessing. Like, I'm just guessing, but I'm like he's supposed to be older, right? Like he's supposed to be.
Oh, he is
past his prime, right?
Yeah, but we don't.
So I'm asking. Like,
It's implied that he could be hundreds of years old, or he could be 20 or 50 years. Like we don't. He's been alive a long
age
time.
is like a saying, bro.
But
Yeah,
what I'm saying,
but
not exactly. I'm saying like, is he? What I'm saying like, is he supposed to be like
slower?
Past his prime?
A little slower.
No, it's not. Yeah. No, there's no past prime. That's what I'm saying. So the reason why I don't want to answer that is because he actually answers it. Pretty much, there's a part in the story where he explains his whole why he's moving the way he is and why he is the way he is currently. What was his reasoning for scaling down how his anger and madness. So, y'all want me to go or?
Because I was thinking, the point I was going to kind of ask or kind of imply was that maybe that's why that's why the game itself is slower. Like they made the action a little bit more slower than what the other ones were.
No. So I think it's just something that pertains to Norse, to where they wanted to fit the scale how he is, and just really actually change the game up and really give him a new weapon. But you'll see what happens in the game.
He's like give you a comparison. He's like Wolverine in the last Wolverine movie. Like it's just like slowed down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, but I still fuck you up when it's all said.
Okay.
The other thing I want to say for people that got this game but aren't far or are just really getting into it, or people that plan on getting it, is you have to. I would advise upgrading your son.
Absolutely.
Because it's definitely like you want to upgrade Kratos as much as you want, but your son actually really helps you a lot during the battles and fights. So like it's I would advise that early on. I would definitely advise upgrading your son, giving him the best things that he can get as well, because you want to do it both ways.
Word.
Go ahead and go.
Yeah. I'm on my second playthrough. I'm trying to do the Give Me God of War now because I'm gonna be like, this game is amazing to me, bro. But pretty much I played every God of War. I beat Chain of Olympus, never really beat Ghost of Sparta. And I think the one thing that I'm super impressed with is just the years of this game, this franchise has been out. This series is that the story still feels refreshing. We have games that can't even go past 4 games, and we'll be like, all right, that's the end of like Master Chief, or that's the end of so and so forth. But it still felt fresh to play. I think the game direction was one of the smartest things for them to do, because I think how games evolve, I don't know if that would have probably withstand in today's era. I think it would have probably gotten stale. But overall, with the story and just character designs, because I got my whole thing listed right here, this game warranted my $60 purchase because the characters, for one thing, were so damn interesting and dope. I knew some of the characters because I already followed Norse mythology before this. Just how they had them portrayed in the game was pretty damn cool. Like the blacksmiths in the game, the dwarfs, or other characters. Like, they were so damn funny in the game. And it wasn't a force either. It wasn't like one of those things where every time you went to them, it was the same animation over and over. No, there was dialogue between the two. Going to the pacing of the game, at first, I was super worried because fighting in that game, the first 20 minutes right before that boss fight, I was a bit thrown off because I was like, oh, is this super slow? You throwing that axe left and right, R1 and R2. As soon as that combat system opened up and I started chasing the chest and I started chasing all these items and started upgrading, the combos that I started doing was crazy. Because at first I thought Kratos was just a slow dude. But when you start paying attention to, what do you call it, like your stat sheet pretty much, like runics, luck, vitality, and strength and defense. Once I started working on that, like speed on your armor, and I thought the customization part of it, like your gear, was going to throw off the story. But no, everything made sense. They didn't allow you to just really farm in the game like traditional games like Dark Souls, because I think the pacing of the game, it was to make sense. You wasn't supposed to be this powerful at this point of the game. You were supposed to really grind and get through the story. Another thing, too, that I praise with this game is that they didn't force you to do side missions. There's too many games where they implement side missions and they take away what's really the focus of the story. So I'm going to go back to Far Cry. I couldn't even go to the damn boss because there was a side mission of a girl who was tied up and I had to actually get to her. That's not really considered a side mission if the only way I can get to the next main story was to do something that had nothing, which was irrelevant, because she didn't even say any words. There was no dialogue between me and the person that I saved in that game. But in this game, there's so much content to go around, and that's why it's rare. It's weird that I'm still going back to it. And just the relationship between you and Kratos, it is dope to see that you're coming from someone who had nothing but rage and just wanted to seek revenge and just wanted to kill everything in sight, to now where he scaled it back and he explains everything and pretty much wants to, and everyone knows this, he's keeping a secret from his son, and you just see the development between the two, whether if it was during a cutscene, which I credit again, there's no loading screens. It's going from strictly cutscene right into the gameplay, very similar to Uncharted 4. And it got me so in tune. I think the reason why I spent like almost 50 hours in this game is because I wanted to learn more about the characters. I listened to the stories while they were sailing in the ship, or I was really trying to do some of the side missions. And hands down, one of the best companion AIs ever is Atreus. He is the best companion AI, from dialogue to how he plays. He actually responds well. I was able to make him an attacker more than I made him a defense AI. Yeah. But he's a beast, because there's moments where you can't get through enemy shields, and when he's hitting them and he's shocking them, that shield opens up and gives you that opportunity.
Chasers said the Wraiths. I don't know what they call. I forget what they call them here. I call them Revenants. Like, you can't throw your axe at them; he disappeared. Like, you have to use a boy in order to touch them, dude. Yeah. So like,
well, see, that's why in my review I actually complimented the AI and said, like, for those who are worried about it, if anything, Atreus feels like another weapon, and that's what I liked about it. It was so cool that, like, when you're out of combat, he's your little friend helping you on your adventure, and then when you're in combat, he's shooting arrows, he's diving on people, prying their eyes out. It's like, yeah, Atreus is very helpful, and the fact that you command him so easily works exceptionally well.
Yeah, if they would have done that wrong, I think Boy would have been a downfall if they would have did it wrong. Because they did it perfectly right, and like you said, used him as like a weapon. and he can defend himself if you upgrade him and stuff like that. You don't really have to worry about him because he'd be doing his own stuff anyway. But I do feel like they got, if they would have messed that up, the whole game would have felt off. And because they did him right, it's amazing. Like, this is definitely so far. I'm not going to give my full truths on it until actually I've beaten the game. But as of now, it's just I would tell people to buy a PS4 for this game.
And
this is the game to buy a PS4 for.
And just to add on, I think some of the dopest thing too is, like, at first I was worried about the pacing because I'm like, Jesus, like, just because of the combat, I was like hoping that it wasn't gonna be too slow. But the pacing of the story, if you focus on story and how the characters develop, because if Atreus is that aggressive and he's that useful as a tool of a weapon, I'm glad he was portrayed that way, because he becomes a badass. And like, at first you get the dialogue and you're like, Jesus Christ, Atreus, and then all of a sudden things start to unfold as the story, you start pacing through it. I don't get bored of it, because there's games that I play and like you gotta play through so many damn missions for things to unfold, and you start learning new things, people or things start to appear. And Kratos was always manipulated in the previous games, which is why he was in this rage, and this time he's trying to get out of it, and there's certain things that happen in the game. And I thought just how the pacing of like how long the game was to how all the information started to come about, I was like super like intrigued by that, and I was like impressed, because I thought there was going to be some dry moments where I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm just fighting through enemies only. No, they really was opening up to each other. And it's so weird because you don't build connections like that often with certain characters. And with this Kratos, I keep forgetting, like, yo, this was the dude at one point who was killing nothing. He was killing everything in sight. Mm-hmm. And in this point, it's like he's trying to hide that figure, but now they're after him, because in previous God of Wars, he was after everyone else. So to see that he took himself to this realm, and now like people know who he is, and they're like, yo, you don't belong here. There's now people after him, and I'm like, yo, there's a turnaround with this story. So I think it's definitely dope.
To continue on, that the game is mentally stimulating, because you have to appreciate the multiple sides of what the game offers. Like, you have Kratos, like Ricky just said, where he's done it all and now they after him. But you also have to look at the son and realize what his son looks up to his dad. Like, you have to really like get into both of them sides. Like, it's really two stories being told here. You got one side where boy is just looking up to his father, and he's just trying to gain his father's like acceptance and love. And then you got the other one where it's like Kratos seems like it's very hard for him to do this without his wife and stuff like that. So like it's just a lot of stories being told within this one story that I've paid attention to, and it's just wild. Like, I'm gonna be real, it's gonna be very hard for another game to beat this game. Mm-hmm. I ain't gonna say it's impossible.
I agree with that.
But I definitely think it's gonna be very hard. Red Dead,
if it comes
gonna
out
have
this year,
some competition.
Where's the gameplay?
As of right now, I don't see nothing stopping this right now, because it's too many great things going for this than there is negatives. Like I said, there's a few negatives that you can point out, but like, and also for the old fans that love the God of War, like, there's still puzzles in the game that end up getting much harder. So like, it's just wild, bro.
They don't hold your hand for nothing in this game either. Like, yo, every little thing, I might have gotten, and I'm glad, because normally when I stream certain games, I get like L's in the chat or whatever. I think they knew the struggle, because as I'm playing, I'm getting bodied. And at this point, I think what set the standard too is, as I was like, because I was like low on health, I said, you know what, I'm gonna let Atreus just handle everything while I'm trying to find if there's any green health around. The enemies started recharging their health. And I was like, oh shit, like I didn't even know that was even possible. And if you decide to level up your armor and your gear, you go to a certain boss thinking you're gonna be hot shot, they level up also. I don't know if you guys actually noticed that. I went to one of the side bosses, and he was at a certain level. And when I raised my level, hold on a second. When I raised my level, it was weird because I went back and he was 2 levels above me still. So like, they're really not trying to hold your hand in this game at all. Good. But yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say. Give me 1 second, fellas.
You pretty much have to like off rip. Like, they just tell you press R1 for light attacks, R2 for strong attacks.
I changed the classic.
They don't tell you like that you have to put in the combos.
Did you
and
plan
there's different
on?
combos.
You plan on that?
I'm playing on whatever. Yeah, I'm playing on whatever it starts
classic,
off.
bro, for the square and the triangle. I tried the regular, and it was cool, but I felt like it was
I don't mind it.
easier for me to fight with square and triangle. I'm a
So how do you throw your shit?
It's still L2 to throw, but then it's either square for a light throw or triangle for a heavy. And then it's R2 to command your son. I'm going to nitpick two things about the game. The fast travel, I don't really want to get into the portal and then run to get, like, that's normally you just, when you fast travel, you just go and it loads and you're there. When here, you like have to like run through this little weird thing. I don't know what that's about. And then like the sprint animation, that shit is weird as hell. I don't know what it is.
I love the sprint animation. It feels so fast.
Why does he? I don't mind the speed, but like he starts super fast, and it's just like I don't feel like I have complete control over him as soon as he starts running. That shit is
good, man. He runs like NASCAR. He's like, all right, here we go, boy.
It's ridiculous. That dude is crackhead fast. As soon as you hit that button, he's gone. It's not like a build up or anything.
I love it because I will like get in a straightaway. I'll like go around a corner, go in like slow Kratos speed, like, all right, let's go, boy.
Well, look, that shit got me. So there was one of those chests where you had to ring the 3 bells, but it was timed.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, but you had to sprint to get around to hit the other 2 bells, and I kept running to the goddamn wall because of sprint animation. That shit was pissing me off. But those are the only 2 things right off top that's like super minor. But
to not add on to that, but to add more to it, you have to explore in this game. Like you have to really look around, or you're not gonna get Nathan.
Look above you.
You have to get.
Yeah.
You have to get like he said, you have to get like 3 apples in chess in order to get your health up. Then you got to get like 3 horns in order to get your stamina. So like they're in chess with like these little relics that you have to find, and like Chase is saying, like you have to run to them, and there's like their time and stuff like that. So my point is, don't leave anything unlooked. Like I don't care if boy is running in front of you telling you to come this way, go to the left and look around first, because there's multiple chests everywhere, and money is not, for me right now at least, it's not easy to attain right now, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, I'm struggling out here.
You end up so filthy rich, you can't do anything with it, honestly.
Well, another thing, I think I know what you guys are talking about, but like one of the dope things too is that when you beat the game, they still don't leave you, because there's still some hidden stuff too that you weren't able to acquire. But what's dope is with side missions and more, you still get some dialogue. I don't know, Dreamcast guy, have you completed all the side missions yet?
Yes, although I can't. I got there's all those extra, and I mean there's big stuff, like you learn extra stuff about characters by doing those side missions, the major stuff. Yeah.
Because that's what I'm like trying to go through now, but as well as playing like the game over and give me God of War. But we can't say much because the game is still early. But I know for a fact, like the next one, I don't know how long it's gonna take, but it was a really good story. The pacing, just the transition and emotion with Kratos and how he was, and then how just things turn around. I wish we could. It's hard to explain it without spoiling. So I'll just say, whoever hasn't bought it yet, I think everyone here would say and agree that yes, I suggest you guys buy it. Plus, there's really nothing out currently, which entails like a story-driven game, and this is one of the, like, if you have a PS4, I would suggest spending $60.
Probably Yakuza, but I ain't played that one yet.
Oh yeah, Yakuza. You could get yourself.
I beat Yakuza. Yeah, it's good too.
Damn, you just beat it. How many games you beat this year?
Probably about 25. But for the record,
I ain't beat shit.
I got Yakuza 2 months early for some reason. They sent it to me 2 months before launch, so I had a lot of time to beat it.
Oh, that's good.
Quick question: which one is better, 6 or 0?
0.
0 is probably gonna be the best story.
How come are they releasing it backwards?
No, 0 is a prequel.
Yeah,
okay.
They went 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 0 started getting made. Then they did 5 in Japan. 0 came out in America. It's just the problem is like each one, the games have so much talking that they finished the games 2 years earlier in Japan. It takes them 2 years to translate them. So sometimes the release dates look weird in America.
Yeah.
But yeah, 0 is still the best. Like 6 has the most stuff to do in the world. It has the funniest side quests. It has the best arcades. Super funny stuff though, but I still think the combat in 0 is the best. The
combat was really good.
The one downside, I gave it an 8.5 when I reviewed it. My one major downside is they simplified the combat in 6.
Oh, that's weak.
Yeah,
the combat was already simple.
especially in the beat 'em up.
Yeah, well, some of the stuff, it's almost every single fight now you can win by just grabbing one dude and literally beating his friends unconscious with him. So a lot of times I'll literally run into like 6 dudes, knock everybody down, pick up if they drop the knife or a sword, start stabbing all his friends with his knife. It's one of those things where you got to be fast, but once you learn the rhythm, really no fight can stand up to you.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and read these final donations. We probably want to get this wrapped up. We went way past our usual time here, but it's all good. Shout out to the people that came here. Make sure if you are in the stream that you like the stream. Jalen Jones came through. He didn't leave a message on that. Thank you, bro. Jaree came through. Gucci so in the wait wrong video. This guy here. Malik Garnett, sub GMG. Hope y'all doing good. By the way, Chase, when finished, got a warhead back to the house at the beginning. Okay, I'll do that. Apex Pie with 2 donations. The first one says, I don't understand what advanced in architecture or hardware would warrant a completely new system, let alone one that isn't backwards compatible. I agree. He said, how do I feel about the realm between realms? Hey, that's a troll from one of my walkthrough, my outburst. She just kept saying, she said realms like 30 times in like 2 minutes. Alex Cub. It's irritating when non-gaming media talk about games negatively, like calling them demeaning for half-naked women and making people commit violent acts. But the writers in these articles don't even play the games. Of course not. A lot of people that complain about shit are people that don't really even get involved with it. I've learned that a long time ago. Dusty Rhodes, shout out from the Bay. I'm a PC gamer. Do you guys think getting a PS4 just to play God of War is worth it? It depends on what your budget looking like. I never recommend getting consoles just for one game. I've done it though. I got Xbox just for Sunset Overdrive. I've done that, but
I would say we're at an age now where everybody should have a PlayStation 4. I mean, there's just so many games, that are even dirt cheap now. Like, I'm a huge fan of Infamous Second Son. I'm like the biggest cheerleader. Yeah, love that game. You can get it for like $3 online right now. So it's like if you get a PlayStation 4, you could get 20 games probably that are all 10 out of 10 experiences.
Okay. Jaree, last message. Chase used to have an Etch a Sketch hairline. Really? But guys, he always got some shit going too.
You know, there's a dude named Ricky's Corners, right? He made a channel called Ricky's Corners, and every time I go live, he goes, "Yo, please cut me off, bro, please." I'm like,
The EDP got a whole bunch of accounts like that. It'll be like EDP's dirty socks, and they'll comment. They'll be like, "Yo, quit making this video and come watch me." Like, the accounts is funny as hell, yo. EDP's
yo,
couch.
he'd be like, "Yo, please." He goes, "Please, man, pull me back a bit." I'm like,
just said EDP's couch. You smothering me, man. I need some room. Like, this shit's crazy. Anyway, anybody got any last words before we wrap it up?
Yeah, a Dreamcast guy. You a fan of Shenmue?
Hey.
Oh yeah, maybe a little bit. I've only beaten the games like 50 bajillion times.
Are you excited for these remasters?
You know it's gonna be ass.
Yeah. So right next to me, I actually have. I own every version of the Shenmue games, including I own the original Japanese release of Shenmue 2. I own the.
Close. Let me see. Oh shit.
Yeah. So like literally, yeah.
That's the one I bought.
Original release of Shenmue. That's Shenmue 2 in Japan. What's funny is if you own Shenmue 2 on Xbox in America, it actually says only on Xbox on the cover because this version is so rare they just chose to pretend it doesn't exist. I own the original strategy guides still sealed because like technically you'd open up the strategy guide and they showed you pictures of the ending and you basically had to break a seal to like look at these screenshots of the ending. This is before the internet, so I still have that. I kept it sealed just to be a weirdo.
What don't you have of like Dreamcast? Because I know I heard you before. You have a lot, right? Like a lot of rarities.
I own all 246 North American Dreamcast games. I own a lot of stuff that technically I call them not real games. Like here's one I have right here. This is they actually made Half-Life on the Dreamcast. This is a real game, but literally 6 weeks before this came out, they came in and fired the entire studio. So there is actually there is a finished version that somebody got a hold of that was leaked to them. So a fan printed me a case with the actual art that was going to be part of the case and printed this for me. So as you can see, this is the actual Half-Life on Dreamcast. I beat it. It's actually fully playable start to finish. The Blue Shift, Half-Life Blue Shift, that was actually originally made for the Dreamcast version, so you could play that DLC on this. I own everything for it. I own the keyboard, the fishing rod, the weird Japanese controller called Poppin' Music.
God damn.
Well, I ain't shit.
R.P.
You see this?
Dreamcast, yo.
I just got rid of some Funkos today. I went into some IRS trouble. I said, fuck that, yo. I'm out. Hey.
Last thing. Navy Boy said, "What's up with the gummy bears?" And then Jeree said he needed Dick Gummy merch. We gonna leave, y'all.
Yo, actually, that might be the move, Hakeem. Yo, we gotta get some of the best sayings on GMG and put them on shirts. That'd be lit as the fuck.
You gonna see? You gonna have these kids out here in school
That'd
with
be
a
lit
shirt
as
that
the
say
fuck.
Dick Gummies,
Gummies,
or it's just gummies though.
Just I ain't eating gummies, B.
It's just gummies. By the way, Dreamcast games, as y'all can see, Dreamcast guy know his shit. So y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to him.
For real, man.
We don't really do official reviews. We just more so talk about stuff. He got y'all full on reviews, and you can see he ain't full of shit neither. So make sure y'all sub to him. But we gonna wrap it up. Peace.
I'm out of here, man.
Gang.
Yeah.
All right.
I realize we don't do like